Back once again with a brand new week. No Knicks basketball until Thursday, and so until then, we're going to have to whet our appetites with some other games. Here tonight, we got Detroit taking on Memphis. Let's get the show started. Let's do it, y'all. Here we are. And like I said, no Knicks basketball until Thursday. So we got damn near a whole week to just kind of sit back, relax, watch these other teams make their preseason debuts. Speaking of preseason debut, one Cooper Flagg, the #1 overall pick from this previous draft. Much hyped, much maligned, even ending up all the way down there in Dallas, despite the fact that they did not need that man. So, we'll be tuning in a little bit, just keeping an eye on seeing what Flagg does. He's probably not going to play a whole lot for a rookie, considering that they do have a bunch of guys out. Speaking of a bunch of guys out, Memphis, the 76ers of the West Coast, the Memphis Grizzlies have a bunch of players out. Per usual, the last handful of years, it was actually just announced a couple hours ago that John Morant was expected to play today, but sprained his ankle earlier in the day, and so he'll be out probably the remainder of the preseason. Maybe he'll come back, play the last game, but he's out tonight, so that's all that we need to know. So, at the very least, we get to sit back, relax, and we get to watch this young man, Cade Cunningham, take yet another step up in his development. His preseason debut should be here tonight unless Detroit starts to pull some funky things, but we should get a pretty decent game from these young Detroit Pistons, who, the reason why I picked them is because I have high expectations for, who took the Knicks to 6 games during the playoffs last year. So this team is on the up and coming. We got to watch out for them if you're a Knicks fan. Everybody else in the East, got to watch out for the Pistons. They're young, they're plucky, they don't know that a lot of people don't consider the fact that they probably maybe even shouldn't be there. I don't believe that. I don't feel that way. I think they're more than capable. I think they should definitely be there. I think they're definitely amongst the group of teams who will be contending in the Eastern Conference. And it is all because of this young man right here, Cade Cunningham. Last season, a career year, a coming out party of sorts, a season that told a bunch of people who did not believe in Cade Cunningham, who had lost the faith, who had lost the hope of the former #1 overall pick ever developing into a cornerstone franchise player. Last season was the season where he told all y'all to go kick rocks. 26 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and this number right here, 9.1 assists per game. God damn. Now, the issue with that is that this number right here, 4.4 turnovers. Oh my goodness, Cade. Story of last season, outside of his coming out party, was this number right here. Brother, you got to get this number down. 3. You need to trim a turnover and a half off of your average. 4.5 turnovers a game is far too many turnovers to have for your lead ball handler, for your lead point guard. Now, there were also things out of his control, like this young man missing a whole bunch of games with a very unfortunate injury. Wasn't it like a fractured leg or something like that? Very unfortunate injury where a player dove into his legs going for a loose ball, ended up breaking his leg. He was having a little bit of a coming out season last year as well. Almost 18 points per game on about 46% shooting from the field and 40% shooting from three-point range for a guy who many people question his perimeter jumper. 40% from three-point range. Now, granted, it was what, a quarter-ish of the season, considering the amount of games he played. So not a super high sample size. Maybe that number would have eventually came down as the season went on. But either way, getting to around that average for the amount of games he played is a telling story that the jump shot is eventually coming. He also struggles with turnovers 3 per game. They are a young team. They are going to turn the ball over. They are reckless and whatnot. But, we saw that come to fruition in the playoffs with kind of just throwing the ball all over the place, and they're really reliant on their one guy. He's supposed to take a lot of the pressure off of that one guy, Jaden Ivey, right? The ball was either in Cade Cunningham's hands or maybe even Dennis Schroeder when they brought him off the bench, but I'd rather also have Jaden Ivey out there. And so, missing a lot of last season, they're getting what I would consider probably their second best player back. You could quibble with that with Jalen Duren, with Ausar Thompson, see what kind of leaps those players make. But I also would consider this guy also possibly making yet another leap this season. We'll have to wait and see. Speaking of questionably who's the second best player on this team, it could be this guy, Ausar Thompson, twin brother of rising star on the Houston Rockets, Amen Thompson, right? Both of those guys went to overtime elite. Obviously, we know this. Some of the most athletic players in the league, these two twins. He averaged about 10 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2.3 assists. Not a whole lot. He's more of a defensive demon. 1.7 steals, 0.7 blocks. Doesn't turn it over a whole lot because he's not ball handling a whole lot. And the jumper is just as questionable as his brothers. Ausar Thompson missed a lot of time last year with an unfortunate heart condition. And so he couldn't play as much as he wanted to. He couldn't be out there for his teammates, gaining chemistry. But he was medically cleared. He did obviously come back and play in the playoff series and was very impressive, despite getting crossed over by Jalen Brunson to end the series. But he was very impressive. You could see all of the tantalizing tools that had led to him being drafted 4th overall, 5th overall, something like that, by the Detroit Pistons. 1 pick right after his brother. First time we've ever seen twins drafted back-to-back in the draft. But expect this young man fully healthy, ready to come out to start this year, to come out with a bang, come out like he really wants to show the world. Last year was a bit of an aberration because I had to miss time to start the year with the heart condition. So, Pistons, Ausar Thompson, Jaden Ivey, maybe even Cade Cunningham. Expect more leaps from these guys, right? They're so young. One of the youngest teams in the league, especially not the youngest team, but one of the youngest teams in the league, ready to make yet another leap. They got a lot of young guys who they're relying upon to make a leap. Another young guy who could arguably be considered the second best player in this team, the second most important player on this team, however you would like to label it, Jalen Duren, center out of Texas, 6'10", they're big man. They're young big man. Once, by the way, drafted by the Knicks but traded on draft day, or the Knicks traded the pick that ended up becoming Jalen Duren on draft day to Detroit, obviously. I think it was traded to Charlotte, then to Detroit, but that doesn't matter because Jalen Duren ended up, obviously, in Detroit. 11.8 points per game, 10.3 rebounds, classic rim running big, hasn't shown too much potential outside of that, but he's damn good at it. You could see he kind of wants to maybe refine his game a little bit, get a little mid-range jumper, get a little bit of Bam Adebayo on him. He's got a similar body type to Bam Adebayo, so maybe that's a player he should be watching a little bit more and develop his game a little bit. But he's got nice touch, he's got nice feel, he's got nice recognition and court awareness and court feel out there. Jalen Duren, again, broken record with these Detroit Pistons team. Young guy, looking to make a leap, looking to announce himself as like, nope, I'm a legit quality starting big man in the NBA, right? 1.1 blocks, 0.7 steals. Dude can be all over the place, but the defensive side is where his awareness can take a little bit of a hit. And most of that we could kind of just sort of attribute for now to his youth. And we'll see how he continues to develop because, again, this team is super young. Can't make too aggrandizing opinions about them. Finn, what's up, Finn? Long-time listener, first-time call. Appreciate you. Do you think the Knicks could be well-served to start encouraging Mitch to take 6 to 8 3-point attempts per game? Come on, big dog. No, brother, no. Tobias Harris, 13.7 points per game. He's returning. Their starting power forward, Tobias Harris, once much maligned for his role on the 76ers, has come out of Detroit and has found kind of a home. They really like him. I have him here as a backup big for some reason, but the context doesn't matter until the regular season actually starts and we can actually start filling in some context. But Tobias Harris, 3-and-D kind of guy, has really found the home playing alongside these young guys as the wily veteran, as the mentor to the younger guys, trying to guide them towards the right path of winning. He's been on many winning teams. He's been on many losing teams. He's been on very dysfunctional teams. He's been playing for cities that don't appreciate him. He's played for cities that do really appreciate him, and we're sad to see him go when he was eventually traded. Boy, oh boy, has Tobias Harris kind of seen it all, and he's kind of the perfect vet because he's still really good. He's still a quality starting player. Kind of the perfect vet to have on this young Pistons team. Really helped them in the playoffs last year. Really helped galvanize them. Then we go over to Caris LeVert, a new addition to this Detroit Pistons team, kind of replacing that Dennis Schroeder spot, right? Caris LeVert will kind of be playing a pseudo mixture of backup point guard, backup shooting guard. We'll see how he fits with this team and how it evolves as the season goes on. Don't want to generalize him too much. Can be a little chaotic with his play, but overall 12.1 points per game, 3.2 assists, 3.4 assists, 3.2 rebounds. Can do a little bit of everything. Backup guard off the bench, maybe even considered an upgrade over Dennis Schroeder, even if it's slightly different player, larger, right? Dennis Schroeder's 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" in that range. He's 6'6", 6'7", in that range with a long wingspan, so he's going to be more versatile defensively. And we're just going to have to see how he fits with this team. Part of the reason why we have the context empty here is because a lot of these new players, a lot of these teams switching things up, maybe even bringing in different coaching staffs and whatnot. So we'll add in context as the season goes on. Another new addition, Duncan Robinson. We know what Duncan Robinson is capable of. You see him here wearing the Heat jersey. This is the second team he will play for in the NBA, and we all know those sneaky, sneaky Miami Heat, right? Every time they get a role player out of nowhere, your Gabe Vincent's, your name me other Heat players who have come and gone, and we were like, oh, why did that guy not work out over here? Gabe Vincent is the latest version of that. But every time the Heat get a nice role player, and then that role player ends up leaving to another team, gets a large contract from an unsuspecting team, thinking, oh, I'll just grab a nice this nice Heat role player that they can't really afford anymore, and then they go over there and they stink it up, and it's like they forgot how to play basketball, and it's like, what kind of black voodoo magic are the Miami Heat using over here? Max Strus was one of the latest guys to kind of break that curse. He's actually been very solid for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and let's see if Duncan Robinson will be more of a Gabe Vincent or more of a Max Strus. Big Rud, what's up, Big Rud? We got about 12 minutes before we get the game time. Then we get over to Isaiah Stewart, Big Stew, Beef Stew. Beef Stew over here. The Pistons would have beat the Knicks if I were healthy over here. Beef Stew. He's big, he's bad. He's going to beat you up in the paint. Good defender, good, solid, versatile defender. Not a whole lot outside of that. But Isaiah Stewart can be a problem if you're not prepared for him. His stats aren't going to jump off the page. 6 points, 5.5 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 1.4 blocks. He's a decent rim protector. He's a bit undersized at 6'8" for a backup center, but he's not skilled enough to necessarily play that forward. He's in that Precious Achiuwa mode for all the Knicks fans in the chat. He's in that Precious Achiuwa mode, but a little bit more skilled, a little bit more versatile, a little bit more confident in his game. And he is really kind of the emotional leader of this team. Although his emotions rile him up and get a little crazy and step outside the boundaries of where you should be as a professional, but still, he helps and is a big leader on this team as well. And without him last year, they really struggled to find a replacement for him. And their first-round pick from last year's draft, Ron Holland, coming off an okay up-and-down rookie season, he's looked at to be a big part of what they're looking to do this year. 6'8", guard, forward, wing combo, versatile player, can do a little bit of everything except shoot the perimeter shot at 23.8% last season as a rookie. But the jump shot doesn't necessarily look broken, looks pretty decent. Daniel Berry Sports, what's up, Daniel? It looks pretty decent. He's just going to have to find some level of consistency, although he has never really shown to be a consistent three-point shooter. So he's going to have to redefine his game in the NBA. And also, like I said, he's going to be looking for more. The team is also looking for him to do more this season. More as a ball handler to work alongside Cunningham, to work alongside Ivy, because they need as many ball handlers as they can get. And so they're expecting a huge leap from Holland this season. And we've said that about 4 or 5 players already on this Pistons team. But then we move on to the Memphis Grizzlies. And here is the issue with the Memphis Grizzlies. Same issue we had with the Philadelphia 76ers when we went through this with them. Ja Morant, who is expected to play tonight, will be out after rolling his ankle earlier in the day. He's going to be out 2 to 4-ish weeks, so probably the remainder of the preseason. Maybe he comes back for the final dress rehearsal games, but who knows? Maybe he'll just want to rest it all the way up to the start of the season. But Ja Morant, we know about Ja, right? What did I write? We all know Ja's a star, but his inability to stay on the court has been the biggest issue throughout his career, and that is has been the biggest issue throughout his career, his inconsistent perimeter game and his carelessness, right? 3.7 turnovers, similar issue. Cade Cunningham, a lot of these young guards, a lot of these over-dribbling young guards where they come in and they're great, but coaching staffs are so ready and willing to put the ball in their hands and just say, go ahead. And you can see, causes situations like this where he's damn near 4 turnovers a game. But we know Ja is a star. Just got to get on the court. Jaren Jackson Jr. is also out. Like I said, the Philadelphia 76ers of the West, right? Star, made the All-Star team, was on the USA team. Big expectations for Jaren Jackson Jr. The issue is that he's just not healthy, and he is rarely healthy. Similar situation to Philadelphia 76ers with Embiid and Paul George, kind of mirroring Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. here. Low budget Target, what's up, low budget? You got to make some decent money to be on camera looking foolish, but I got Pistons for sure. We'll see, brother. We'll see. Jalen Wells. It's a preseason game, my friend. Jalen Wells. Rookie last year, rookie standout. Kind of came out of nowhere. People weren't fully expecting anything from him, and then he came out and won the starting forward position. 6'8", good 3-and-D player. Probably looking for him to take maybe another leap. Put the ball in his hands a little bit more, see what he has as an on-ball player, see if they can develop him a little bit further. We'll see that a lot tonight with the ball in his hands with Ja Morant. Again, going to miss some more time. KCP, AP, George Jones was popping, everybody. What did you miss? Just some pregame chatter. George Jones, appreciate you. Green screen setup is dope. Appreciate you. KCP, new addition to Memphis, coming off one of his worst seasons of his career with the Orlando Magic last year. His three-point shooting fell off a cliff. Is that an aberration? Or is that a sign of him aging and becoming washed and not being able to be the 3-and-D player that he was? The defense is already starting to slip a little bit. Is the three-point shooting ever going to come back, considering that it dropped all the way to 34% last year, a guy who was pretty consistently a 40% three-point shooter, close to being a 40% three-point shooter year after year, and then really took a nosedive last year. Can his three-point shooting come back? We'll have to see. Was it an aberration with poor spacing and like a Mikal Bridges situation with the Knicks where it's like the system really just didn't fit the player? Did the Orlando system really just not fit KCP? You know, especially coming off the 2 years playing with Nikola Jokic, you're getting wide open shot after wide open shot after wide open shot. You know, he's not going to be able to play alongside Ja Morant for a little bit, again, with Ja Morant's new injury. But Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies should be able to create wide open looks for a guy like KCP, considering that he's kind of going to be filling in the Desmond Bane spot. So he should be able to slot into the role that Desmond Bane was in, not to the degree that Desmond Bane, not to find the success to the degree that Desmond Bane did. Obviously, they're completely different players going in completely different ways in their career, but KCP should find some more success with Memphis than he did with Orlando, at least. That is the expectation when Memphis acquired him. We get over to Santi Aldama, and probably my favorite role player in the NBA. I love Santi Aldama, super underrated. 12.5 points last year, 6.4 rebounds, 3 assists for a 7-foot kind of forward center, small ball center. I say small ball center because he's not really a rim protector. 0.4 blocks, as you can see right there with that number. But this man can stretch the floor, about 37% from three-point range, damn near 50% from the field. He's a smart, intuitive mover around the court. Really good, can do a little bit of everything. Elite size, soft touch, all of it. Can play in multitude different lineups. Super versatile, both offensively and defensively. Can slide his feet so he doesn't have to be pigeonholed into guarding just centers. As a matter of fact, he's not really great at guarding centers. You kind of want him on 4s or even 3s. With a 7-foot frame and a long wingspan, can really disrupt people using his size. One of my favorite role players in the league, super underrated, my man Santi Aldama. AP said this is like NBA and NBC on YouTube where Mike Breen is doing weekend how to market games. Appreciate you, AP. Absolutely, absolutely. Right? Knicks don't play until Thursday. What are we going to do? Sit around and not watch basketball? Might as well watch some basketball, right? It's preseason action, so it's not going to be the greatest basketball, and we'll see how the night goes if we stay for the entirety of the game. But might as well. Turn it on. Let's do it. Are you going to do pregame shows for the new season? Absolutely. We're going to go live 30 minutes before the game. About 30 minutes before the game. I have player graphics for every single team already set up. I did the work. I already did the work. We will go through every single game pregame, right? We'll have a pregame for every single game we do, and that's for the Knicks and for every other show that we do, for every other game that we do outside of the Knicks. We have graphics made for every single team. As a matter of fact, I wish I had time to make more graphics, but as for now, we'll just stick with the player cards. Zach Edey, who is also not going to be ready for the start of the season. Like I said, the 76ers of the West, these Memphis Grizzlies. Zach Edey with a 7'4" frame, over 300 pounds. This dude is a beast. But at that size, in modern basketball, I don't know if he's just built to play at this pace, at this speed, with the court spread as wide as he is. When he is healthy and when he can get on the court, he can be dominant. As a rookie, 9.2 points, 8.3 rebounds, nothing that really stands out too much. He was a rookie who, again, was on and off the court with injuries, couldn't really find a level of consistency. He did shoot a little bit of three, right? Very low volume, 34%, but it's promising. Shows he's got a soft touch. He's not just big. He's not just standing in the paint with his hands up and catching it and dunking it. He's got skill. You can throw it to him in the post. He can knock down a hook shot. He can knock down a little floater in the lane. He doesn't have the bully balls way to the basket, although he can also do that. 1.3 blocks per game. He's a pretty decent rim protector, really just because of his size. Obviously not that quick of a lateral mover at his size, but can still be impactful as a defensive player because he just takes up so much goddamn size. Then we get over to Scotty Pippen Jr., who really had a coming out party last season. We're running out of time. We got about 2 minutes before 8 o'clock. But we do have like 10 minutes before tip-off, so we're good. We're good. Scotty Pippen Jr., the second coming of Scotty Pippen. Point guard, 6'1", didn't grow as tall as his daddy, but Scotty Pippen Jr. Made a name for himself last year with John Morant's tumultuous season last year, on and off the court again with injuries. Scotty Pippen Jr. stepped up, took advantage of the opportunity, and won himself the backup point guard spot here with the Memphis Grizzlies. May have found the home for himself. He's going to get a nice bag when his contract is up. Sadu Barry, what's up, Sadu? About 10 points per game, 3.3 rebounds. I can't speak tonight. My apologies, y'all. 4.4 assists. Scotty Pippen Jr., really solid backup point guard. That's all you're really looking for him. 48% from the field. His efficiency is pretty good. Got to get that free throw percentage up, but damn near 40% from three-point range is solid. And also, considering you have a starting point guard who turns the ball over like crazy, having a backup point guard who is really careful with the ball, 1.7 turnovers for Scotty Pippen Jr. is really nice to have as a backup in that role. And the last player we'll go over with, the new addition coming over from the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's coming off a career campaign with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Ty Jerome is, where he was in consideration for Sixth Man of the Year. That's how spectacular he was in the second half of the season, although his playoff performance may have tanked his value a little bit because now he was shipped off from Cleveland all the way over to Memphis to sort of boost up their bench and some of their production, knowing that they're going to be missing John Morant for some time, as they always do. But 12.5 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, 3.4 assists, can do a little bit of everything. Struggles defensively, as you saw in the playoffs. But 44% from three-point range last year. Is that an aberration, or is that a sign of who he has become in the NBA? This man's got a great touch. Shot it extremely well that last year. Can he replicate that with a new team, new system, new players around him? We all know Cleveland, supremely talented, had a bunch of talented players around them, a bunch of great screen setters between Mobley and Allen. Is he going to have that same level of success, considering that Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr. are going to miss the start of the year? Is it going to take him some time to sort of get acclimated for it, and then we'll see him again? sort of explode to his, or is he just kind of is who he is? We're going to have to wait and see how he plays with Memphis. But that's pretty much it. Again, it's a preseason game, so we're not going to get too crazy. We're not going to get too analytical about it. Just a quick summation of who these players are, who we're likely to see today. These are likely the role players who will get majority of the minutes during the regular season here today. During the preseason, we'll see a bunch of second stringers, third stringers who will not be a part of the regular rotation during the regular season. But again, we'll fill in context. We'll change stats as the season goes on. We'll adjust all these player cards as it goes. But here in the preseason, we're just here having fun, testing out some new formats, all of that. But it is now 8:02. Let's get our game up on the screen. Let's get everything ready, everything set up. Oh, by the way, I also did mess around with the other setup we have. So if we switch over to here, boom, we got the game cast and the score kind of hidden. Got my scoreboard up over here, and then we can keep our player cards up on screen. You can't really read the context. Words get a little too small. Find an adjustment for that, but you can read the stats. That should be big enough for you guys to read it, and it will cycle throughout the game, so we should be pretty good there, guys. See, but also while I'm setting this up, I'm not going to be able to notice the chat. See, I'm going to have to put something down here for the chat so you guys can really see it. See, it's a process. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, y'all. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. And we'll do that. We'll figure it out. See, I'm going to put something here behind the chat so we can read the chat easier, and then also cover these ads. Get these ads out of here. Get these ads out of here. Can I do that here? Also, where's the game? Can you start the game? If I could find my mouse, there we go. Might have to lower the volume. There we go. Just that's it. Scotty Pippen, Scotty Jr. Hopefully a better tipper than his father's cheap sub. That's crazy. It's a crazy story. It's a crazy pull. Doug Fresh, what's up, Doug Fresh? Just Dead said, we never got your thoughts on the Kawhi money bucket issue. They did that. They definitely did that. They 100% did that. Jay Eric, what's up, Jay Eric? Is John Morant playing? He is not playing. They announced today that he sprained his ankle earlier today, I think, like 2 hours before the game was supposed to start. So John Morant is going to be out, unfortunately. Unfortunately, Jay. My opinion on my thoughts on the Kawhi money thing, they definitely did that. They definitely circumvented the cap. All it really is finding as much evidence as you can. Adam Silver just wants to sweep this under the rug and hopes that if enough time passes, we will all forget about the Kawhi Leonard thing. That's what he wants. He wants us all to forget about it. He wants time to move on. Doesn't have to address it. All he has to say is something along the lines of like, oh, we're investigating. We're looking into it. And then never has to bring it back up again. Because nobody, time moves so quickly. There's so many things in the news, sports-wise, life-wise, that people are just going to forget about the Kawhi Leonard thing, and everybody's going to move on eventually. And, unfortunately, I don't think Adam Silver has any gumption in him to actually do anything about it. But they definitely did that. They definitely circumvented the cap. And, look, teams do that. It definitely happens. The issue with the way the Clippers did it, one, it was an obscene amount of money that they did it with. But two, they did it so poorly. It's like a slap in the face to everybody else who does it discreetly, Doug Fresh said, good to watch other teams. I mean, the Knicks don't play till Thursday, right? You guys know that we're here for every single Knicks game. We're not going to miss Knicks games. I'm not going to do a Pistons-Memphis game on a night where the Knicks are playing. We're going to do the Knicks games. They just don't play till Thursday, so we might as well do some other teams. I like watching basketball. I hope you guys like watching basketball. I watch basketball even outside of the Knicks, right? So figured might as well go live. Let's do the show. Let's do it every night. One, sharpens my skills. Hopefully the show gets better, right? Situations like this where it's like, okay, I know I need something here for the chat, one, so it's easier to read, and two, so we can cover the ads and all of that. It would also encapsulate sort of the stream a little bit better. It allows me to look at things and like, okay, it needs to get better, right? It needs to get better. Just that's an NBA fan here, but loves the Knicks. That's me. That's me. Love the NBA. But I've literally haven't missed a Knicks game in like 15 years. I've watched every single second of every single Knicks game, including preseason, summer league stuff, every single game. And many times I've rewatched multiple games, you know? Just that said, Chef has deep NBA players knowledge. I have a baseline casual knowledge of most players, you know? And that's just from watching. That's just from watching college, from listening to smarter people than me talk about a lot of these players during the draft cycles. And so even though they come into the league and maybe I don't watch them, or maybe they don't play for the first year or two, I still know who they are. I still know their background. I know their scouting reports and whatnot. Just that said, do you think Dadier will make the roster? I mean, he is on the roster. You're asking me do I think Dadier will eventually be traded? Essentially, right? Do I think he'll be traded, or do I think he'll be on the roster for opening night? Unfortunately, I think Dadier will be traded. All the reports are showing that the Knicks are going to make a trade before the season starts in order to make room for Malcolm Brogdon. They really want Malcolm Brogdon on the team. So, you know. User67 says, show the real game. I wish I could, brother. I wish I could. If I could, I would. But they will instantly take this stream down. There have been moments where I have accidentally shown the screen that I have the game on, and literally within 5 seconds, they would take the stream down. Are you going to put the game on? I wish I could, man. I wish I could. I really wish I could. There's an app for it called NBA Playback, where you can become a partner with NBA Playback, and then you can send out that code to people. But I think you have to have an NBA League Pass account in order to use Playback, in order to watch the game. But then I can show you the game. But it's like you're limiting your audience there a little bit. But that's a different conversation for a different day. Also, NBA Playback doesn't allow you to have these things. They don't allow you to have different graphics and a green screen setup like this and your own scoreboard or whatever, you know. Just that NBA would shut us down and ban for 90 days. They might like scrub this whole channel from existence if I showed 5 seconds. I've shown highlights after the game where it was like, oh, let's watch this one highlight on Twitter. And they have taken the stream down and demonetized it and like just gotten rid of it. Justice Dead said we got the MLB all over us in another stream for showing Yankee Stadium during a game, 90 days shutdown. They do not play about showing the game, man. They do not play about that. Like I said, I've accidentally shown my screen that I have the game on for like 5 seconds, and they've gone and shut the stream down. Not even exaggerating. Here we go. We're off and running. Ty Jerome's in the starting lineup. Is that Jake Lawndale in the starting lineup? Jalen Wells off with a handoff. Step back three. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about with Jalen Wells off the dribble production. Cade Cunningham has it, bringing it the other way. He's got Jalen Wells on him. Gets it out to Ivy. Here's Ivy. Welcome back, Jaden Ivey. His first game since the leg break. Cade Cunningham, mid-range pull-up foul line jumper. Got it to go. Memphis is the home team. If you didn't know, the bottom team here is the home team. The top team is the away team. Jalen Wells up top to Ty Jerome, bringing it down off a Londale screen. Cross-court pass. Pump fake. Santi Aldama, my man. Bank shot. Can't get it to go. He tried to go with the old man bank shot, but the bank was not open. Off the mark. Here comes Ivy pushing the other way. Way to keep his handle alive. Leaves it off for Thompson. Stops, turns, pivots, a little fall-away mid-range jumper. Can't get the friendly rolls. It rolls off the side of the rim. And here comes Memphis pushing it the other way. Ty Jerome up top, coming to us right off the screen. They swing it around to Wells. Catches, pump fakes, going along the baseline. Pump fakes again, leans in, and draws the foul on Isaiah Stewart. And that's what I think Memphis is really interested in seeing with Jalen Wells. He's already shown it twice here. Once off a handoff from Santi Aldama, no hesitation. Let me bring it to my right. Little brush screen. Okay, you gave me enough space. I'm pulling up off the one dribble, right? And then you get over to the previous play where they swing it over to him. He quickly catches it, swings, going along the baseline, draws a foul off a nice pump fake. KCP misses the pull-up mid-range jumper. Will push in the other way. Tobias Harris has it on the right wing. Bringing it down, hands it off to Ivy. Ivy has it up top, being guarded by KCP. Coming to his left off the Stewart screen, driving it down in the lane. Kicks it out to Stewart, a straightaway three. He's going to pump fake it and drive it down. That's not the guy you want to run off the line. He goes right into Londale, picks up his own offensive rebound, and a big one-handed hammer for Beef Stew. 2 points to the wrong side, my bad. Still 4-3. Ty Jerome probing his way down into the lane off his Jake Londale screen and a Santi Aldama brush screen previously. Finding himself to the foul line and knocked down a nice little floater. Here comes Ivy, blowing past Santi Aldama off the screen, off the mismatch, and throws it down with a one-handed jam. 6-5, 9:40 to go here in the first quarter. Jalen Wells swings it out to Londale. This feels a little bit like a regular season game. Like both of these teams seem spry as Jake Londale knocks down a straightaway three. He's taking over for Jay Huff. If you know, you know. Jay Huff now down in Indiana. Here comes Thompson, gets it over to Ivy, back up top to Thompson. Thompson coming off a Stewart screen, driving to his left, stops, turns, spins, kicks it out to Harris. Quick catch and fire shot. Looked like he didn't even have control of him. It just kind of chucked it up there. It was way off. Almost got a wedgie there. Ty Jerome bringing it down the other way. Swings it out to Wells. Wells off the bounce. Euro step down the lane. Throws it up off glass. Can't get it to go. KCP with the offensive rebound. Little mid-range pull-up jumper. Got it to go. And again, another example of Jalen Wells taking it off the bounce and attacking the rim. Something you didn't see too often last year, almost at all. Was exclusively a catch-and-shoot three-point player. Nice pump fake and drive from Tobias Harris there. Knocks down a little floater in the lane. Jerome bringing it down against Thompson. Thompson charged with guarding the point of attack, no matter who it is, it seems. Ty Jerome coming to us right off a screen. Thompson sticks with him. Sprays it out to Jake Londale. Now back to Jerome. Coming to his left off the Londale screen. Gets into the lane. Throws up a long floater. Well short. Picks up his own offensive rebound. And quickly throws it up and in before Thompson can come back and recover. And quickly shot out of a cannon is Jaden Ivey. But he's out of control. Loses the handle. The Memphis Grizzlies pick it up. And KCP is bringing it down the other way. Has it on the right side of the court. Going to be picked up by Ivy. Still looking to find a rhythm in his first game back. Over to Santi Aldama, who splashes a three-point shot. Left wing three. Nothing but net for my guy, Santi Aldama. Scoreboard slightly off. It's 8-15 now. Under 8 minutes to go. Cade Cunningham has it up top. Swings it out to Thompson, who pump fakes. Driving it in on Aldama. Almost lost his footing. He's got nowhere to go, and they do hit him with the travel. It looked like a travel. A little late of a whistle, but they do eventually hit him with it. Justice is that to the Grizz have a nice color scheme. Very eye-friendly, very cool colors, very calm, cool colors. Nothing that is too striking, that stands out, could strain the eyes. Very cool colors, right? Light grays with a dark gray accent. It really accentuates the light gray. And then obviously with the white alongside it. Ty Jerome weaving inside, leaning in, draws the foul on Cade Cunningham. He's going to go to the foul line for 2 free throws. 7:30 to go. I also got a little different setup over here for my scoreboard. trying out something new. I'm going to have to get used to it, not used to the way I have it set up now. But I think this is the best way to have it set up. So I'm a little slow where I click the wrong buttons. It's just an adjustment. Again, preseason for everybody. Preseason for me too. Just as that said, this will be a 300-point game. Maybe. Maybe. Ty Jerome knocks down the first one. Ty Jerome looks good. He looks spry. Duncan Robinson subbing in here for Detroit. Ausar Thompson subbing out. Looks like Karis LeVert, I believe, also coming in. Just that said, the stream is Mikal Bridges' layup line. Last year with his layup line thing. I get it. I get it. If you know, you know. Marcus Sasser's in the game. He has it up top, swings it out to Duncan Robinson, pump fake, drives it in, kicks it out, extra pass. They swing it around. Karis LeVert, a left wing three. His first shot is a Piston, can't get it to go. Ron Holland chases down the loose ball, but he saves it right to the Grizzlies. Now it's a 5-on-4. KCP pushing. They swing it over to Wells. Wells in the corner, catches, pump fakes, driving it in, throws it up, can't get it to go. He's looking for a foul call. He doesn't get it. Here comes Holland pushing the other way quickly. Holland leaves it off for, is that Duren or is that Paul Reed? But Marcus Sasser settles for a pull-up three. Can't get it to go straight away as they left him wide open. That is Paul Reed. Duren is not playing today. He's out. The Grizzlies swinging around over to Jerome. Jerome kicks it back out. KCP wide open left corner three, and he knocks it down. KCP looking to recapture the magic he once had in Denver. They call that a long two. It's 20-8. Duncan Robinson, a straightaway three, air mails it. Maybe it grazed the front of the rim, but either way, it flew out of bounds. And ball is going to go back to the Pistons. Lou Horto, what's up, Lou Horto? John Moran playing today? He is not. He is not. Ja is out. He was supposed to play today, but I believe he sprained his ankle earlier today, and they ruled him out. Probably for the remainder of the preseason, they ruled him out. We'll see. He may come back for the final preseason game. But who do we have out here for the Grizzlies? PJ Hall. Is that PJ Hall? Am I getting that name correct? Who's P Hall? Is that PJ Hall? That is PJ Hall. Okay. Okay. I don't know much about PJ Hall. Not gonna lie. I don't know what his game encompasses. They say he's a center, 6'10", 245. See this? When you don't know something, you just look it up. Played for Denver last year. I mean, barely played. He played 19 games, 3.5 minutes, so he was only playing in garbage time. But, like, is he a stretch big? What's his skill set? Not going to be able to tell from any of those stats, but he's in the game right now for the Memphis Grizzlies. See, what I'm noticing now, though, is when I do go over here and look up a player or anything like that, right? If I go to a different tab, see, this is great for this setup. But I'm going to need another scene for the other setups because we have our player graphics set up. Cool. We can go to this at any point, right? Actually, let's reset that back to Cade, start of the Pistons one. This I'm still working on. I don't know how I want to design this yet, but I want a large scoreboard setup. We'll get to this at some point. This is like a halftime thing, and then we'll swap back and forth, whatever. But just a little previews to what we got going on. And then obviously we have our regular setup. But again, we're going to need a different one so we can go over box scores and whatnot at halftime. Judge Dad said 4 for 4 from 3 to start. I mean, this is a pretty fast-paced start. Memphis Grizzlies are cooking on all cylinders. All right, see, if I come over here, I mean, it's all right for you guys. It's all right. But it could be better. It could be better. The Pistons are 0 for 4, and the Grizzlies are 4 for 4. I mean, there's your 12-point lead right there, literally. Literally, there's your 12-point lead. But KCP hit one, Jock Londale hit one, Jalen Wells hit one, Santi Aldama hit one. As for the Pistons, Harris rushed one. Thompson's not a three-point shooter. Stewart's not a three-point shooter. Cade is an off-the-dribble three-point shooter. And then Ivy didn't take one. He's not really a three-point shooter. He's more of a slasher, so. Here we go. We're back into it. As the Grizzlies turn it over, Sasser comes up with the steal, going the other way. Can't get the transition finish to go, but he does draw the foul, so he's going to go to the foul line for 2 free throws. A foul on Scotty Pippen Jr., I believe, trying to get back on defense. Sasser to the foul line for 2 free throws. Mikhail Angel. Oh, what's up, Mikhail? Josh sprained his ankle, so he isn't playing. Absolutely. Was it earlier today, Mikhail? I know it was announced earlier today, but did he sprain his ankle today in, like, shoot-arounds or something? It was a weird report. Came out a couple hours before the game was supposed to start. Sasser knocked down the first free throw. He's got one more coming. Sasser goes 2 for 2. 2 perfect free throws there for him. Scotty Pippen bringing it down. Gets it over to P.J. Hall. Hall gets it out to Scotty Pippen. Coming to his left. Back out to Jalen Wells. No hesitation 3 from him. And they go 5 for 5 from three-point range. Boy, they feeling it. Past the halfway point here in the first quarter. Levert bringing it down. Coming to his left off a Paul Reed screen. Tries to shovel it over to Paul Reed. It's a turnover. We're pushing the other way. Scotty Pippen takes the bump with the layup and 1. Getting the transition foul. Marcus Sasser returning the favor. This time getting an and 1, though. He's going to go to the foul line for 1 more. 1-upping Marcus Sasser there. There's the miscommunication from 2 players who haven't played together before, out there for the first time together, in Karis LeVert and Paul Reed. Scotty Pippen knocks down his and 1 free throw. I didn't give him his 2 points for the layup. My bad. 26-10 here. Marcus Sasser bringing it down. Some full court pressure here from the Grizzlies and Scotty Pippen. Those 2 guys look like they're going to start getting at it. They're getting a little bit chippy there. There's some good basketball. They get it into Paul Reed in the high post on the left wing. Hands it off to Sasser. Sasser swings it up top to Holland. Holland catches. Jab step. Driving to his left. And they call Ron Holland with a travel. Scotty Pippen bringing it down. They get it over to Wells, curling off the screen. Keeps the handle, pulls it back out. Out to Omax Prosper. Prosper gets it over to Scotty Pippen. They hedge out on Scotty Pippen. He's forced to give it up quickly. Now back to Prosper. He's got a runway to the basket. Euro step, high finish with the right hand. Air mails a layup. Hits nothing but glass, and now the Pistons are pushing the other way. LeVert swings it out to Duncan Robinson. Jab step driving to his right, gets down the lane, kicks it up top to LeVert. No hesitation, straightaway 3, and the Pistons still can't buy a basket out from the three-point line. They snag an offensive rebound. They swing it around. Duncan Robinson, 1 dribble 3. Can he break the curse? And yes, he does. He breaks the seal in the basket, gets the first 3-point bucket to go down for the Detroit Pistons. And some full court pressure from the Pistons and a bad foul from Ron Holland trying to jump the inbound pass. Ends up fouling John Conchar, just trying to inbound the ball. Just trying to inbound the ball. Sadu Barry said, salute Pistons, going to miss Beasley and Tim. I don't know. Cedric Howard for the Memphis Grizzlies has subbed in. I like Cedric Howard. I like them a lot during the pre-draft. Scotty Pippen has it up top. Swings it out. Vince Williams Jr. a 3. He splashes a 3. And the Memphis Grizzlies remain perfect from the three-point line. They cannot miss so far. And my timer stopped. Stopped my timer, unfortunately. 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. We'll catch up. Paul Reed, nice backdoor cut. Nice backdoor pass to a cutting Karis LeVert. But they call a foul on the pass. So it's going to be side out of bounds. Get it into Sasser. Sasser gets it over to Holland. Holland swings it over to Sasser. Sasser back to Holland. They're going nowhere. East to west, not north to south. But Ron Holland said, it's all right. I got it anyway. I could splash this deep straightaway 3. I've been working on my jumper, y'all. Watch this. As Ron Holland splashes a 3. Scotty Pippen launches a three, and they remain perfect, y'all. Another three-point shot goes down for the Grizzlies. They have yet to miss one here in the first quarter. What is that, 6 for 6 now? 7 for 7. And a timeout for the Pistons. They got to talk about it. JB Bickerstaff trying to cool off the Grizzlies any way he can. Another thing to mention about the Grizzlies, this is the first full training camp that their new head coach, forget his name, we'll look it up right now, got to give him his shout out, new head coach has with the Memphis Grizzlies, and maybe you're seeing the fruit of his labor with this playing style leading to very many wide open shots. Preseason, we're not going to overreact to it, but Grizzlies look very good, moving the ball around, getting into the lane, a lot of pick and rolls, which you did not see under Taylor Jenkins, the previous head coach, who was almost the Knicks head coach. I wanted to look up the Grizzlies head coach. Let me give his name a shout out. Nick Yak, what's up, Yak? Tomas Lasallo. Coach Lasallo has his team moving and grooving to start the preseason. They look very good. Justices that said calling travels and not getting 150 each. They may still get there. I mean, the Grizzlies look like they might get there. The Pistons might not be able to keep up, though. Yak said Ja has been a headache more than the Grizzlies realized. Yeah. I mean, he is, how old is Ja Morant now? You know, I think they would feel like at this point in his career, he should be coming out of being a headache. Right, so Ja Morant is 26, turning 27 this year. You know, they definitely probably feel like, yeah, starting to enter your prime, Ja. Like, pull your personal life together, big dog. Mikhail Angel said, not sure when it happened. We now have Ja, Jaren, Edey, Brandon Clark out and still look this good. This is the Tomas Lasallo revolution. I've been foretelling. He's got his team looking great. He's got your team looking great, Mikhail. You guys look fantastic right now. And you got the rookie Cedric Howard coming in. The Lasallo revolution is definitely in place right now. I mean, again, you don't want to overreact with one preseason game, but this is what basketball is about. Get excited, right? Us Knicks fans, we're excited about the Mike Brown revolution, but Lasallo's got the Grizzlies looking fantastic right now. Cade Cunningham, off the pass from Tobias Harris, splashes a three, trying to get his team back into it. At the time of running the whole time, my apologies. 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Big Mace, what's up, Big Mace? He sprained his ankle. He did sprain his ankle. And another three-point make. Was that from John Conchar there? 3 points to the wrong side. My bad. 35-19. 35 first quarter points. We still have 3 minutes to go. Ivy breaks down the defense, kicks it out to Sasser. A three-point shot. Halfway down, can't get it to stay. And then a loose ball foul on Ivy fighting for the loose ball. Big May said Ja Morant did it in practice. That's super unfortunate. On game day, spraining it, you know, during shoot-around or whatever. Justice that said, what's your opinion on the WNBA situation? Are we talking about the Nafisa Collier calling out the commissioner? I think it's fire. I think it's so cool. I think we need more of that. We need people calling out other people maybe not doing their jobs as well as they could, and maybe taking people for granted, you know? I think we need more of that. We need more of that in our lives. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's dope. She also had a crazy bar in there where she said, you know, if I didn't know what it was like to run a league, that could be a point against me. But unfortunately for you, I do, because she started her own league. Crazy flex. I should focus on the game as Vince Williams Jr. launches a three. He can't get it to go. Cade Cunningham just ran the court and got a nice layup out of it. Inside pass. Conchard down there by himself. As Vince Williams came up with the steal in the backcourt. And as Jaden Ivey turned it over again, he looks all out of sorts. Again, his first game back since, or is that Coward? No, that's Vince Williams. Cade Cunningham fouls the Grizzlies on the fast break there. Who is that young man? That's Omax Prosper. So Prosper is going to go to the foul line for 2 free throws now. Grizzlies look very disruptive defensively, getting their hands everywhere, being very disruptive. Particular, what's up, Particular? He said it's a capital I in front of his name, so it's Isalo. My bad, Isalo. Appreciate you, Particular. Thank you. Thank you. I did not know that. I thought it was Lisalo. It's Isalo. 2 I's. Grizzlies split the free throws there. Make sure my scoreboard is correct. We are at 21-8 to 38. 18-point lead for the Grizzlies. Cade Cunningham has it up top, sprays it out. I got to look up who this young man is. He gets it out to Ivy. Ivy drives it into the defender, and an offensive foul. Jaden Ivey, again, he looks all out of sorts. His first game back, cut him a little bit of slack. His first game back, coming off the broken leg from last year. Pistons have, who's that? Chris Lanier in the game. Ty Jerome bringing it down for the Grizzlies. Has it up top, dancing with it. Gets it out to Vince Williams Jr. He's going to drive it in, shovels it out to Lawndale. Back over to Jerome. Jerome coming to his left. Kicks it back out to Lawndale. A straightaway three. He's got open space, and he rattles it in. They continue to be perfect from three-point range. They just refuse to miss right now. They refuse to miss. They just decided we're not missing. It's not going to happen. Not tonight. Stewart has it up top. Inside pass to Harris. Goes up, draws the foul on Coward. The rookie. Going to send Harris to the foul line for 2 free throws. Justin, that said, what do you think LeBron's presser is going to be about? Flowers and celebration? He's either going to announce a brand deal or he's going to announce his retirement. I think it's going to be a brand deal. I don't think he's going to retire. That's just me, though. AB said, how about calling out Adam Silver? He always screws with the Knicks. Adam Silver is always fixing these drafts. That's what I'm talking about. We should normalize calling out our bosses for not doing their jobs well enough. You know? All we want is a better product. That's all we're asking for. That's all we're asking for. Harris stepped to the foul line and split his free throws. Lawndale has it up top. Hands it off to Vince Williams Jr. Vince Williams gets it out to Ty Jerome. Jerome stops, probing around the Lawndale screen. Tries to shovel it over to Lawndale. He can't handle it. Pass was a little low. Vince Williams saves it. Gets it out to Jerome. Jerome's got to heave in. This is going to be the first miss. And that's the first miss from three-point range. And a shot clock violation. I can't believe it. That's how we ended the streak. That's how we ended the streak. A half-court heave. We had to get it up. Unfortunate. Yak said incredible. Not missing and taking so many threes. I know. These guys can't miss right now, but they are generating fantastic looks. As Cade Cunningham coming off the screen. Can't get the shot to go down. But Lanier comes flying in for the offensive tip-in. He misses the tip, but they call a late whistle foul. It's going to send Lanier to the foul line for 2 free throws. Good effort from the young kid. Yak said he's chasing one more NBA record. He isn't retiring yet. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. It's LeBron. He's 43. Is he not 43? He's 43. We got nothing left to say about LeBron. I got nothing left to say about LeBron. He's 43. I've been ready to move on. You know what I mean? Like, the league doesn't need LeBron anymore. Right? I think Silver would love to have LeBron still around, but we don't need LeBron around anymore. Lanier misses both free throws, but he does grab his own offensive rebound off the missed free throw. And then Cade Cunningham spins right into the double team, turns it over. Vince Williams bringing it down. They swing it out to Jerome. Jerome's going to drive it in, draw the foul, flips it up to the basket. Can't get it to go down, but he will go to the foul line for 2 free throws as he drew the foul. Just as that said, the supposedly refs fixing for the Vegas team in the WNBA. I mean, they say that about every team, man. It's funny because you could watch a game like tonight, and the Pistons fans would be like, "Well, the refs are rigging it for the Grizzlies," and then Grizzlies fans would be like, "Oh, the refs are rigging it for the Pistons." I don't think it's happening like that. I really don't. Do I think it happens occasionally, and the refs in the back of their mind know what the line is, and they're like, maybe we call the foul here. It could go either way. Maybe. I don't think it's on the level that I think a lot of people assume it is. I don't think it's on a giant conspiratorial level. Cunningham has it up top, coming to his left, and he knocks down the floater after Ty Jerome split the free throws. And Jerome, half-court heave, can't get it to go. Half-court heaves no longer count to your field goal percentage, so it doesn't count as a three-point attempt because he missed it. So technically, the Grizzlies only missed 1 3-point shot, and it was a half-court heave with the shot clock winding down. Incredible. Yak said, I've been done since taking my town to Miami. Oh, brother, come on. Put your big boy pants on. AP said, if the Knicks achieve the dream, is Adam Silver getting booed at the Garden? Forever and always, brother. Forever and always. Just as Dad said, how critical of JB are we allowing each other to be this year? You can be as critical of Jalen Brunson as you want. I'll push back where I disagree. Right? If you've seen I can pull it up. I could just pull it up here. I could just show y'all. This is my quick analysis, very broad, very general, of our guy Jalen Brunson. Our guy JB. Jay Bizzle. Throw it right here real quick, just so I can read this out to y'all. Right? You can't see it too well, but I'll read it to you. This is what I say about JB. Brunson is an unstoppable offensive force. His downside is when he takes a matchup personally. It turns him from a score-first point guard to a ball hog, shot-hunting foul baiter. Right? That is the best way I can describe it. There's 2 sides of Jalen Brunson. When he's playing the game and he's being the superstar that Jalen Brunson is, and when he starts to go, why do you think you can guard me? Right? Dyson Daniels, you can't guard me. And then he goes, everybody, get out of my way. Let me cook this dude real quick. And it's like, no, Jalen, he's an excellent defender. Jalen, don't do that. Don't do that. Now, more times than not, it still works out because Jalen Brunson will eventually figure out the matchup and cook him. Just ask Ausar Thompson last year, Game 6. Boom, hit him with the crossover, pull-up 3, series over. And Ausar Thompson's an awesome defender, and Jalen Brunson was like, all right, brother, chill, relax, you can't guard me. Right? He figures it out. But that's when you get the worst side of Jalen Brunson. So we could be critical of JB all we want because we all know what it is with JB. Right? Everybody's got a downside. Everybody's got a bad side. Yak said Brunson ball hog ISO is the best in the NBA in points and ISO percentage. Yeah, but you can't rely on it too much. It sucks to rely on it. Everybody else just kind of stands in the corners, right? That's how you get Mikal Bridges having a poor shooting year overall, feeling like a down year. He's great at it, but you don't want to have to rely on it, and we relied on it way too much last year. Part of the reason why we moved on from Tibbs. And to start the second quarter here, the Pistons driving along the baseline, shoveling it over to Stewart, and Stewart gets a layup and one as Londale just accidentally fell into him. But it is a foul. So Stewart's going to go to the foul line for one more free throw. It's only a 16-point game. Stewart at the foul line knocks down the free throw. It's only a 15-point game. And the Grizzlies win, 8 for 9 from three-point range in that first quarter? Yak said last year we needed it. I would argue we didn't need it last year, but we relied on it, so it felt like we needed it. I just think last year was a very poorly coached season. Ty Jerome, a straightaway three off a nice dish from Jalen Wells, again off the dribble, this time kicking it out up top to a wide open Ty Jerome. And the first real missed three-point shot of the game for the Grizzlies. And Isaiah Stewart getting excellent post position in the paint against Jock Lawndale and getting a nice, easy turnaround hook shot. The Grizzlies pushing it the other way, getting a wide open three for Jalen Wells in transition, but he can't knock it down. 2 missed threes in a row as Ron Holland Euro steps past Ty Jerome, gets a two-handed slam, and it's suddenly an 11-point game. Just like that. What happens when the Grizzlies start missing shots? What happens when all of those shots don't go down the way they did in the first quarter? They come out and miss 2 threes, and then boom, just like that. 4 quick points, 2 quick baskets, one from Stewart running the court, getting great post positioning, knocking down a little turnaround hook shot. And then the other time, Ron Holland getting out in transition, Euro stepping right around the traffic cone that is Ty Jerome and getting a two-handed slam out of it. Now all of a sudden it's an 11-point game. Wahid, what's up, Wahid? I thought Grizzlies weren't anything without Ja. We might not want to speak too quickly, man. It's an 11-point game. After the Grizzlies went 8 for 9 from three-point range in the first quarter. Probably have like a 20-point lead after a quarter like that. It's down to 11. This is why you play a 48-minute game and not a 12 one. See how it plays out. Justice Dad said he's 42, same age as me. I believe he's younger than me. That's right. It's his 23rd year, but he's 40 or 41 or whatever, however it is. Justice Dad said Stewart is going to be a problem this year. Stewart's solid. Stewart is solid. He's going to be a solid backup big for them. He's their backup center. Jalen Duren is going to start alongside Tobias Harris at the 4, and then they'll bring in Stewart. And they'll sprinkle him in there. Stewart's really good. Stewart's a really good backup big. AP said Pistons lost some pictures from that team last year. I think Tim Jr. is gone. Hold on. Let's see. Go to the roster real quick. I believe he's still on the team now. Hardaway is gone, I guess. Yeah, Hardaway's gone. Hardaway, where'd he go? He went to Denver. Do I have Tim Hardaway on my thing? I don't think so. I don't think I do. Let's see how the Grizzlies respond after that quick Pistons push. Just that said, have you looked at the schedule this year yet? Any prime games for the Knicks, Christmas or anything? The Knicks always play on Christmas. This year they are playing. Where are they playing on Christmas? Are they playing the Cavs? The Cavs game on Christmas? Last year we had Wemby. Who do we play? I think it's the Cavs. It is the Cavs. It is the Cavs. Here we go. We're back in. Caldwell Pope lined up a right wing 3, and maybe it looks like Caldwell Pope just needed to get out of Orlando. Just needed to get out of Florida because he is now 2 for 2 from 3-point range here tonight. And suddenly back up by 14, 45-31 as Ausar Thompson driving it in, draws the foul, going towards the rim, so he's going to go to the foul line for 2 free throws. Thompson struggled from the foul line last season. Doesn't have a very soft touch. Yeah, except Brunson would watch possessions at the possession blow up when we needed points and when ISO Brunson and won some games as we needed this year. We'll get less ISO. Because we have a coach who's going to juice up the offense in the system. One of the worst One of the worst coaching performances I've seen from a good coach in a while. I mean, Tom Thibodeau is a really good coach, and he was a poor coach last year. Did not drop anything for anybody. Was like, hey, JB, here's the ball, man. Go cook. Like, come on, man. We got talent. We don't have to do that. Ty Jerome has it up top, attacking. Ausar Thompson hits him with a pump fake and able to draw the foul. Thompson being a little too aggressive. Ty Jerome sensing it. The wily vet getting him up in the air. Going to the foul line for 2 free throws. Ausar Thompson split his free throws, by the way, so it's 32-45. They're going to say foul on the floor. They're going to say Ty Jerome got fouled on the pump fake before he decided to go up. 10 minutes to go here. They get it into Jerome. Jerome coming to it right off the Londale screen. Cunningham chasing. Jerome tries to spray it out to the corner. Gets tipped out of bounds by Duncan Robinson. It'll remain with the Grizzlies with 9 seconds to go on their shot clock. 13-point lead. KCP gets it into Londale. They don't have a lot of time. They got to get it going. They get it over to Jerome. Jerome's going to walk it down, spray it out. KCP, a left wing 3, well contested, comes up short, long rebound. Robinson able to secure it. And now here comes Cunningham pushing it the other way. Quick outlet to Thompson. Thompson bringing it down. Thompson gets it over to Stewart. Stewart hands it off to Cunningham. Cunningham coming to his left. Probing down the lane. Lefty floater. Can't get it to go. Good box out and rebound from Londale. By the way, just realized Ivy does not come out with the starters in the second quarter. That's Karis LeVert. Stewart, good hands, knocking it out of Jerome's hand as he was driving to the basket, but it found its way to Londale as the Pistons couldn't corral it, and Londale able to get the and one as Cunningham comes flying in and runs right into him. Londale going to the foul line for one more. And the Grizzlies were able to calm themselves. Pistons were making a run, building some momentum. Great timeout from Coach Isalo. Calming the team down, killing the momentum. They've come right back out as Londale knocks down his free throw. Pushing the lead right back to 16. 9:30 to go. Stewart has it up top, dancing with it. They get it out to Thompson. Thompson being guarded by Jerome. Coming to it right off the Stewart screen. Knocked out of his hands. Stewart can't hold on to it. Out of bounds, going back to the Grizzlies. And again, the Grizzlies with great hands. Really great hands. Just sticking his hand in there. Knocking the ball loose. Pistons end up kicking it all over the place. It finds its way out of bounds. Ty Jerome will pull up 3. Oh my goodness, right over Cade Cunningham. Ty Jerome off to a fantastic start in his Grizzlies career. Announcing himself to the Grizzlies faithful. Cade Cunningham probing, kicks it out. Ausar Thompson, a left wing 3. That's what you want Thompson settling for. Comes up short on it. Here come the Grizzlies pushing the other way. Vince Williams Jr. in and out dribble to the basket. Lefty layup gets it to go over Stewart. Stewart, pretty decent defender. Not the greatest rim protector, especially against athleticism. As the Pistons turn it over yet again. A terrible pass from Thompson trying to weave it through 3 defenders. Ty Jerome, a right wing 3. Rushed it. Can't get it to go. Thompson with the rebound. He's turning on the Jets, going all the way. Bump Euro, lefty floater, got it to go. Jalen Wells has it up top. Coming to his left. Wells has been quiet since that first quarter. Since the start of that first quarter. They get it over to KCP. Down the lane, scoop play with the right hand. Got it to go for KCP. And back up to 19. 21. They've built the 20-point lead. AP reminding people with the thumbs up. I appreciate you, AP. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. Isaiah Stewart said it was for a right wing 3. Jock Londale was like, go ahead, shoot that thing. And Isaiah Stewart made him pay, knocking down the 3 there. Ty Jerome has it up top. Down to the left, gets it over to Jalen Wells with a no-dip left corner 3. In and out, halfway down, but he can't get it to stay. Cade Cunningham turning on the Jets down the lane. Leaves it off for Caris LeVert at the last second, and then they call the offensive foul. Caris LeVert, who came in high with high elbows, elbowing Jalen Wells, trying to create some space, and they hit him with the offensive foul, ball going the other way. Jackson Brunson got most of his points Saturday going ISO. Will be a big part of his game, just not as big. Of course. No one's saying he's not going to ISO anymore, Yak. He's the ISO king. Every star ISOs. SGA is going to ISO. Luka's going to ISO. Jokic is going to ISO. Give me the ball, get out of my way. When you're the best player on a team, give me the ball, get out of my way. But you also have to recognize that if you do that for 48 minutes over an 82-game series, you're going to break down come playoff time. PJ Hall down the lane. He can't get it to go for the Grizzlies. Duncan Robinson snatches a rebound. Quick outlet to Thompson. Thompson, quick hit ahead to Cunningham. Cunningham takes some contact, gets the layup to go, and he gets the foul on Hall on the other end. Going to send Cade Cunningham to the foul line for one more. Just that's a right Christmas game. Kind of let me know we weren't elite last year. No, that was a Wemby showcase. They wanted Wembanyama in Madison Square Garden, brother. That's all that is. Cade Cunningham knocked down. Or are you saying like how the game went? I don't know. That gave me some faith in Mikal Bridges. 45-point performance, 41-point, whatever it was, 40-point performance. Gave me some faith. Did not last throughout the year. Scotty Pippen misses a right corner three, well short. Fight for the loose ball. Cade Cunningham comes out with it. Nice outlet to Caris LeVert, who catches, pump fakes, lets Aldama fly by, and he gets the layup. Beautiful outlet pass from Cade Cunningham. And great effort to grab that rebound. Here come the Pistons, a 13 again. Aldama tries to thread the needle inside the Hall. Hall turns it over, trying to save it from going out of bounds. Here comes Thompson pushing the other way. Thompson crosses over to his right, down the lane, kicks it out. LeVert, a right corner three. He's feeling himself. Can't get it to go. Fight for the loose ball. Paul Reed had it, lost it, saves it over to Cunningham. He has it up top. Scotty Pippen steps up to guard him. Cunningham behind his back, crosses over, inside pass, bad pass, kicked all over the place. Is it staying with the Pistons? It's staying with the Pistons as it hit the foot of one of the Grizzlies players. They're going to call it a kickball violation. It's going to stay with Detroit. 6:12 to go. Halfway through this second quarter. Fun game. I think we chose a nice game. At halftime, we're going to go around the league and check Cooper Flagg's preseason debut with the Grizzlies. Very interested in what the number 1 overall pick has done so far. Cunningham attacking, leans in, step back, left wing three. Oh my goodness, Cade Cunningham, yes sir. The step back, left wing three, nothing but net for Big Cade. Jalen Wells has it on the right wing. Cross-court pass got tipped, and now the Grizzlies very sloppy with their passing. A nice pass from LeVert over to Duncan Robinson, gets the layup to go, and just like that, y'all, we talked about it. The lead is gone in a blink of an eye, down to 8, down the single digits. Every time you think they're out, they pull themselves back in. Down by as many as 21 points, they're right back into the game. They're right back into the game. Is this more of a sign of how pesky the Pistons can be, or more of a sign of how sloppy and young the Grizzlies can be? Big Mike, what's up, Big Mike? Cooper Flagg looking pretty good. It was either between this game or the Dallas game, because I did want to watch Cooper Flagg play tonight, but I think this game is going to be the better game, especially considering John Moran was supposed to play before he sprained his ankle earlier today, unfortunately. I would have thought that this game was going to be the better game, but we are at a timeout. Just that, so the ankle of JB really worries me? Yeah. You know what helps preserve that? Not having him ISO against elite defenders night in and night out. It really helps. It really helps. Okay, real quick, let's look at the Thunder Mavs game. Oh, it's the start of the game, halfway through the first quarter. Nobody for Oklahoma City is playing. I mean, when you win a championship, you are allowed to do this. Literally nobody's playing. Case on Wallace is playing. Flagg 0 for 2, 3 boards, 2 assists, a block, doing a little bit of everything. Hasn't scored yet, missed his first 2 shots, including a 3-point shot, but doing a little bit of everything. Davis is out there with 3 boards, 5 points. Cool. He did knock down a 3. Klay Thompson's over 3 from 3-point range. They started lively. No, who's the other big man? That guy's out. But it's early in that game. We'll keep an eye on it. Spurs are beating the Loon Lions. Frank Kaminsky playing for the Guangzhou Loon Lions. Is Wemby playing? Wemby is playing. 6 points. Not doing a whole lot. He's letting everybody else cook. 6 assists. He's spraying that ball around. 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 points with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. Wemby's going to be crazy. Well, look at these stats. Wemby is going to be crazy. 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Only got 6 points, but my goodness. Oh, he's got 6 turnovers too. 2 blocks and 3 fouls. All right, here we go. We're back into it. Never mind. We're going to get another stoppage in play. Something's going wrong. 8-point lead for the Grizzlies. All momentum was on the Pistons side before the timeout. Let's see how the Grizzlies respond here coming out of the timeout. Yak said, so glad I can see your scoreboard with these old eyes on an iPhone and almost even see the stats. Appreciate you, yeah, appreciate you. I'm trying, man. I'm trying to make it as visible, as clear as possible. This is just a little slideshow. I could work to make it a little bit bigger. Like I could shrink the scoreboard, maybe make it 50-50. Just so maybe we could see this a little bit better. But this is just a little slideshow so we could see who's out there, who are the rotation players for each team. Because we got the pregame, so I went through the graphic. But, you know, we'll keep working on it. As the Grizzlies turn it over off the inbounds, Cunningham pushing it the other way, gets it out to Robinson, pass fake, puts up the left wing 3, and he splashes it in transition. 5-point game. God, I love basketball. God, these things can turn on a dime. Love it. Love it. 55-50. Felt like the Grizzlies could do no wrong in that first quarter, and suddenly they're in a game. Jalen Wells, left wing 3, air mails it, nothing but air. Here comes Paul Reed pushing the other way. Gets it inside to Cunningham. A bad pass. Bad pass from Paul Reed. The center trying to go coast to coast and throw an inbound, an interior pass over to the point guard is just a bad decision. Scotty Pippen leaning in. Draws the foul on Cade Cunningham. I was waiting to see if it was a block or a charge. They called the blocking foul on Cunningham. A little bit of a flop. I think they didn't give it to Cunningham because it's a little bit of a flop. Yak said Dallas could be a problem for the Western Conference. They could be. Davis is a superstar. People underrate Davis all the time. Cooper Flag could be fantastic. He's the number one overall pick for a reason. Tobias Harris driving it in and draws a foul. The nice handoff from Cunningham, and here come the Pistons. Here come the Pistons. Grizzlies starting to fade a little bit. But Dallas, I mean, they got nice pieces. They got great depth. P.J. Washington, Najee Marshall. They still got Klay Thompson. They got Kyrie Irving, who's decent chance he comes back this season. They signed D'Angelo Russell. They got depth at all around. Maybe the wing position, but that's kind of where they're hoping Cooper Flag kind of fills in this season. They are going to be a problem for sure. Scotty Pippen swings it up top. They get it over to Coward. Now over to Vince Williams. Vince Williams, nowhere to go with it. Pulls it back out, turns it over. Cunningham had it, lost it. Vince Williams gets it back. Cross-court pass, turns it over. Sloppy play from both sides. Ivy down the lane, gets swatted at the rim, and Ivy doing way too much complaining right now. He's got no feel for the game as Vince Williams walks into a wide-open 3, and then a loose ball foul on the Pistons, fighting for the offensive rebound, and it's going to stay here with the Grizzlies. Kay Hazy said, Cade or Jock? Cade, no hesitation. No hesitation, Cade Cunningham. Not even close. Not even giving it a second thought. Cade Cunningham, 10 times out of 10. Damn near 11 times out of 10. Cade Cunningham. I would have said that last year. I would have said that 2 years ago. I would have said that 3 years ago. Yeah, I said Dallas needed his young legs running and his energy with all their older players, but both ends of the court. Yeah. I mean, the youthfulness of Cooper Flagg and the excitement of having a talented player like Cooper Flagg come into your organization is going to help revitalize certain things, get them playing with a ton of energy and effort. Just as his dad said, Cade does all the small stuff. He does all the small stuff. He does all the big stuff, right? I mean, dude is taking a leap. He's just the guy I thought he was always going to be. I always thought he was going to be a huge cornerstone face of the franchise level player. And here he is, exactly who I thought he was going to be. And an 8-second violation on the Pistons with Ivy trying to bring the ball down and some full court pressure from Scotty Pippen. Ivy is all out of sorts. He has no rhythm right now. As Scotty Pippen just splits the defense of Ivy and Cunningham. Bad defense from Ivy to let him go there. Cunningham had no help there. And then a foul on Scotty Pippen as he slipped and fell and reached in on Cunningham. But Ivy's doing a lot of flailing and flopping and looking at the refs with his palms in the air, and that's never a good sign. Never a good sign for Jaden Ivey. The Pistons are in the bonus. So bad foul from Scotty Pippen. It's going to set Cunningham to the foul line for 2 free points. 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter. My timer going? No, yep, it is going, but we're good. We're good. 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Cunningham knocks down the first free throw. He's got one more coming. And my scored slightly off. 54-59, 5-point game. Yak said, you really doing a great job. I can't understand how you haven't exploded yet. So much better than anyone calling games. I appreciate you, Yak. I appreciate you. I do a bad job of advertising myself. I really do. Tobias Harris driving to the rim. He loses the ball out of bounds. It's going to go back to the Grizzlies, and they're going to quickly push the other way. Every team to start the year always wants to play faster. It's always the directive. Every single coach will say, we're going to play faster. We're going to shoot more threes, right? And then as the season goes on, teams slow down, players slow down, injuries start to take their toll, the length of the season starts to take their toll, and the pace usually starts to wane. But both these teams getting up and down as Tobias Harris goes up and gets a nice, strong finish at the rim and transition off the turnover from the Memphis Grizzlies. And they're quickly pushing the other way. Aldama answers right back with a three of his own. Getting some of those points right back, 56-62. Memphis up by 6. Ivy breaking down the defense. Euro steps down the lane, takes the contact, can't get the layup to go, but Paul Reed right there for the lefty tip. And then a steal by the Pistons. They spray it out to Ivy, waiting for a three, and he rattles it in. 1-point game for the Pistons, under 3 minutes to go. 62-61. Can the Pistons take a lead before halftime? After an incredible, scorching first quarter from these Grizzlies, the Pistons have clawed their way back in, down by as much as 21 here in the first half. Scotty Pippen has it up top, crosses over, down the lane, loses the handle, looking for a foul call. He doesn't get it. Paul Reed picks it up, and here's Paul Reed trying to bring it down again, and then just pushes off on Santi Aldama. Give the dang ball up, Paul Reed. How many times previously, as a center, he tried to bring the ball down and try to throw an entry pass into Cade Cunningham and turned it over. It was a terrible pass. Centers should not be doing that unless your name is Nikola Jokic. And then this time, he picks up the loose ball and tries to bring it down and just blatantly pushes off in the middle of the court in front of 3 refs' faces. They're all looking at you. Blatantly pushes off on Santi Aldama to turnover. Give the ball up to a guard. Basketball 101. Oh my goodness, Paul Reed. To get it over to Vince Williams Jr. curling off a screen. He used his one dribble. He gave up his handle. Now they get it over to Coward. Now back to Vince Williams. He's going to look to quickly attack. Down the lane, flips it over the right hand. Can't get it to go. But the big man, Hall, right? That's Hall, yeah. The big man, PJ Hall, with the two-handed follow slam. 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Cade Cunningham spinning towards the baseline and gets the righty finish to go. Kid continues to be spectacular. Scotty Pippen bringing it down. Pippen, quick crossover to his left on Ivy. Sprays it out to Conchar. Can't get the three to go. Ivy does a good job tipping the rebound over to Holland. Holland bringing it down. Quick hit ahead to Ivy. Oh my goodness, to Harris. Harris throws a lob to Cade on the right side of the rim. He catches it, decides to reverse layup on the left side to avoid the shot blocker, and he gets the layup to go as the Pistons take a 1-point lead. Vince Williams Jr. can get the three to go on the right wing, and the Pistons will bring it down the other way. He's hearing a smattering of boos from Grizzlies fans here right now. Cade Cunningham weaving his way into the paint, can't get the little floater to go. Fought for the rebound by Paul Reed, out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Pistons. They get it into Harris, quick catch and fire to the right corner, splashes it nothing but net, and now they have a 4-point lead. Now they're adding to the lead as the rookie Coward bringing it down, gets swatted by Paul Reed in the paint. Conchar picks it up, tries to get it out to Scotty Pippen, off his fingertips out of bounds, and the Grizzlies look like they're in a mess. They look spectacular in the first quarter and to start the second quarter, and they have just completely fallen apart here. The offense is sputtering. They got nothing going. Now, they're missing a lot of players, obviously, and it's the first preseason game. You don't want to overreact to that at all. But still, it is still something to take notice of. They got a lot of work left to do. I had some people in chat talking earlier about how, like, the Grizzlies, even without John Moran, with the new head coach, we're great. Grizzlies can't get to the loose ball. And then Ron Holland picks up the loose ball, driving it to the rim, gets the foul on P.J. Hall. He's going to go to the foul line for 2 free throws here and build it to a 6-point lead. Kay Hazy said, fire the coach. Doug Fresh said, I think Detroit's going to be good if they stay out of foul trouble. They're going to be good. They're going to be there. They're going to be one of the 5 best teams in the league. If not, maybe even higher than that. But I got Knicks, Cleveland, Orlando, Atlanta, and then Detroit. I think those are the 5 best teams in the league, no question. I mean, we know the 2 best teams in the league, Knicks and Cavs. And then below them is the next tier of 3 teams of Orlando, Atlanta, and the Pistons are for sure there. They can get as high as the 3 seed this year, I think. Scottie Pippen has it up top after Holland knocked down both of his free throws. Pippen waving guys away, waving guys off. 15 seconds to go. 10 seconds to go. Scottie Pippen now calling for a screen from P.J. Hall. Rejects the screen, driving to his right, down the lane, knocked out of his hands. Going to the Pistons for the final 4.8 of the quarter. Scottie Pippen, I praised him in the pregame for being a guard who doesn't turn the ball over, and he's turned the ball over a heck of a lot. And then he fouls Jaden Ivey on the inbound. Oof, a rough quarter for Scotty Pippen Jr. here. And they call it before the ball was inbounded. It's a free throw. It's a terrible foul from Scottie Pippen. That's a low IQ foul, brother. Just as that's a Detroit basketball. used to say that to all the dudes from Detroit I was in the service with. It's a fun thing to say. They get me hyped. It's a fun thing to say. Ivy knocks down his free point. Now a 7-point lead for Detroit. Imagine they knock down a 3 here and they take a 10-point lead at halftime. That would be crazy. That would be crazy, guys. K. Hazy said that's what Yabusele did, trying to bring the ball up, but he got away with it. Yabusele's a better ball handler than Paul Reed, though. Right? Yabusele's a forward, 6'8" forward. As Ivy goes to the rim and gets the and 1 foul. Goes coast to coast. And I made the joke that, what if they knock down a 3 and take a 10-point lead at halftime? They're going to get 3 points the old-fashioned way with Ivy going to the foul line, and they can take a 10-point lead in at halftime. How does this happen? Grizzlies falling apart. Where are the Grizzlies fans who had a lot to say to start the game? Been awfully quiet since. Guys, how are you feeling right now? Ivy knocks down his free throw. Coward at the buzzer. Half-court heave can't get it to go. And the Pistons take a 10-point halftime lead. Crazy development here. Finn said, can you give us the finishing order of the top 4 in the East this year? And one shocking take regarding any other team? I think I did, but if I wanted to put them in order, I think the Knicks will finish with the best record. I think it'll be the Knicks, the Cavs, for sure. Could be Cavs, then Knicks, but I'll go Knicks, because I'm a Knicks fan. I'm going to go Knicks, Cavs. Who do I think is going to finish today? I think Atlanta is going to finish with the 3rd seed. I think Orlando will finish with the 4th seed. And then a surprising take about any other team. A surprising take about any other team. Okay. Any other team in the East? Does that be the East specifically? '76ers, I don't have an opinion about them. I think they're pretty bad. The Charlotte Hornets, I think the Hornets are going to be good. I think the Hornets, at the very least, are going to make the play-in. It's not saying much in the East, but I think the Raptors are going to be bad. I think Miami's going to be kind of meh. I think Washington's going to be bad. Super young team. I think Milwaukee's going to be very meh. If Giannis misses any time, this team is tanking. They're not even going to make the play-in if Giannis misses any time. Getting older, he is dealing with a bunch of injuries, as he gets older. Vincent, like the Thunder missed the playoffs. Come on, man. Shea could retire and just leave a complete void in Oklahoma City, and they're still making the playoffs. Still have a ridiculously deep, talented team. Something surprising, something shocking about any of the teams? I could say something crazy, like I think Charlotte could be the 6th seed, but is it that crazy? Is it that crazy? I don't think, we kind of know a baseline of where these teams are going to be, right? I don't think anything crazy standout's going to happen. I don't see, other than maybe Charlotte, if LaMelo stays healthy, if Brandon Miller stays healthy, if Con Knipple is really good right away, if their first-round pick from last year develops a little bit, and Tejan Salon, maybe. Mikhail said, feeling like it's time for halftime and some Isalo magic. You got Isalo magic in the first quarter, and then I don't know what happened after that. Yeah, had a 21-point lead, and you're down 10 at halftime. It's preseason, so you're not going to overreact from it, but oof. What I'm going to do here, though, actually, is I want to just quickly tune in to that Mavs game, Mavs Thunder, just to see, what do you mean? What do you mean? Okay. I tried to play the stream, and they were like, you're logged in with your League Pass account, but we can't play the stream for you. I was like, what are you talking about? But I refreshed the page, and it works fine. I just want to see real quick. I'm going to have it on in the background, and then I'll tell you my opinions on Cooper Flagg should he be in the game while we watch it right now. Just that Celtics are nothing without Tatum. I think Tatum hides a lot of flaws with that Celtics team. They got rid of all their big men. Well, they didn't get rid of all their big men. Well, they traded Porzingis, and then Horford left. So their big man rotation is gone. They're gonna have to, and Cornette left. So they're gonna have to have a brand new rebuilt big man rotation. You know, like it's definitely a transition year for them. But, you know, what if Jalen Brown misses 20 games? Like, you got no Tatum to carry the offense. I think he cleaned up a lot more than I think people realized, and we're going to see a lot of it this year. Okay, Hazy said Ivy looks like he's gained some muscle. Maybe. He looks all out of sorts. Again, his first preseason game, his first like legit NBA action since coming back from the broken leg. So I'm gonna give him a complete pass. A complete pass he gets from me. But um, it's been a rough Ivy night. Yak said, when I sync you up in the game, it helps me figure out who the players are on some plays. So many look alike, even McBride now, and especially helpful with opponents. I appreciate you, Yak. I try my best. Sometimes I mix up guys too. Like I notice after the fact, I'm like, ooh, I said that was that guy, and now I realize it wasn't him. But I try to correct myself whenever I notice it. You know what also sucks as well is when you stream the games, and I don't have the greatest TV that I watch these games on that I have set up here. It's an older TV, so it's not like the sharpest image. But also when you stream the games, like on whatever, like I use the Gotham Sports app to watch the Knicks games. I use YouTube TV to watch nationally televised games. And then I use NBA League Pass, and they just don't have the highest quality stream. So sometimes it's hard to tell. It should be more clear than it is, given where we are with technology and how clear we can get images. But these companies are very comfortable with just having the bare minimum rather than going the extra mile and getting like a 1440p stream for you. Yeah, except Cleveland Knicks are for sure my surprise could be Miami again. I don't know. I don't know about Miami. I'm not a fan of what Miami did this offseason. I mean, Norman Powell is a solid pickup, but I'm not a fan of their team at all. At all. Yak said, who knows about Detroit? Do they take the next step? I hope not. I think they do. I think they do. I think Detroit takes the next step. I think Detroit's really, really good. I think Detroit's really good. Just that said, what are your thoughts on a comet? Mothership coming to Earth? No idea what you're talking about, brother. So I got no thoughts on it. Finn said Payne Pritchard first team All NBA. He's gonna put up numbers. He will put up numbers. Just as that's a new chair, new TV this year. I do want to get a new TV because this is a very old TV. Like this is like going on 8 to 10 years, and these like newer age TVs don't tend to last that long. Like that's around the time you should start looking to switch them up. You know, and this was an old TV that like my parents had, and then they got a new TV, and so the TV like got put in the guest room, and then they got a new TV for the guest room, and then so this TV came to my room, and then eventually I got a new TV for my room, and so I had this extra TV laying around. I was like, okay, cool, I'll put it down here, and that's where I'll watch the games. And then I got my computer set up, and then I had the TV for the games, and it's not the greatest TV. Like I said, it's kind of been all over the place. It's pretty old, but Mikhail said, it's about what I expected, playing games so quickly after making such drastic changes to everything. Any solo asking players to do things most of them haven't done before. Bound to be messy. Oh, it's for sure going to be messy. Anytime there's a new coach and they implement a brand new system, it's going to get messy. The Knicks are going to get messy. I'm a Knicks fan, Mikhail, and we've been watching the Knicks in preseason. Their first 2 games against what's it called? Philly and Saudi Arabia, and they look great and whatnot. But Philly kind of sucks, and they're obviously missing a bunch of guys. But they've already talked about, Mike Brown has already talked about, like, it's going to be messy. There's going to be nights where it's ugly, and we don't look connected at all. So whenever you implement the new coach with a new system, it's gonna get messy. And it's funny because you saw it into the game where the first quarter looked fantastic, looked incredible, and then the second quarter, second quarter was a mess. Nuggies, what's up, Nuggies? I hope the Pistons let Jaden Ivey play a ton of minutes. This preseason, obviously, he needs to knock off some rust, dumb turnovers. Oh yeah, he looks chaotic and out of control, and he has no rhythm and feel for the game right now. We talked about in the pregame how he was having a career year last year, obviously before, unfortunately, the injury. But he, so far in that first half, looked really rough. And, I said I'm giving him all the passes because it's his first game, his first NBA action since coming back from the injury. So he gets all the passes for now. But, yeah, you got to play as much as he can in the preseason to knock off a lot of that rust. V-Lone, Magsy Andom. What's up, V-Lone? Get a job? I do got a job, brother. This is a hobby, my friend. Mikhail said the first quarter was just so unexpectedly excellent that it projected us into the future. It's gonna be excellent, but not for a good while yet. I mean, you can't expect 8 for 9 3-point shooting in halves too often, but I'm rooting for it. It looked great. Looked great. You guys were generating wide open shots, right? It wasn't just about the fact that they made all of them. They were all pretty much wide open. Like, you were generating fantastic shots. And then it got a little sloppy in the second quarter. But again, no Ja to kind of orchestrate things. And you're starting big men, all of that. Yak said, during an operation, I lost all my sight in one eye and half in the other. I believe you telling me this. I remember, Yak. Believe me, your calling is really helpful. Yesterday in Meadowlands, had a lot of trouble watching my Cowboys. Man, I appreciate you, Yak. I try my best, man. I really do try my best. Part of the reason why we continued to do these, it was just, like I said before, it was just a hobby. We were just going live to do these games, and then the community started to grow, and so it was like, cool, we'll just keep doing them. And part of the reason is because of people like you, Yak, where you come to the streams and they're like, I can't watch the games. And so I really appreciate you being able to call the games, and so I can listen while I'm not able to watch it for whatever reason. Some people at work, some people busy doing other things, or somebody in a situation like you. And I think it's really cool too that a lot of other content creators are also doing play-by-play stuff. So it's a growing trend on the computer, on YouTube. Just said Cowboys had the Jets in big trouble. Everybody has the Jets in big trouble. And then the Jets are constantly in trouble. Night in and night out. Just that till we get rowdy during Knicks games. Yeah, it's hard to, not hard, but the energy is always going to be different when you have a vested interest in the game you're watching. And obviously I have a very vested interest in our Knicks. And so the energy is always going to be different. I try to bring a fun, positive energy to these other games. It's just never going to be able to match the Knicks games. It's just never going to happen. It's just not possible. I can't fake that level of excitement. That's real excitement. I don't, you guys come on and you watch me do these games. And I'm happy and I'm excited to call these games and whatnot. The way I act during Knicks games is real excitement that I have of watching the Knicks play basketball. Like, those are real emotions. I just let them out. Here we go, getting ready for the second half, third quarter, 12 minutes on the clock. 10-point lead for Detroit after Memphis built up a 21-point lead in the first half. We didn't go over the box scores either. And then I didn't get to see any of Cooper Flagg in that other game. Did not get to see him on the court. Actually, let me go back here. Let's make sure we have the game. Oh, no. Gamecast? All right. Well, let's put the Gamecast on. Back on. Real quick, let's look at the box scores. Cunningham had 20 in the first half. 23 and 4. He did have the 3 turnovers. He did have 4 personal fouls. He can be a turnover machine. 4.5 turnovers per game last year. Not good enough. Not nearly good enough. Duncan Robinson gets it over to Stewart, and the starters are out. Very relevant trend for every team in the NBA, where you play your starters in the first half, sit them in the second half, get as many guys some run and burn in the second half as you can, just to give everybody a bit of some time to showcase themselves and whatnot. Ty Jerome along the baseline, knocks down a float over Ron Holland, gets the and one. Oh, nope, that's not the Pistons. That is the Grizzlies. Ty Jerome is on the Grizzlies. I saw red and thought Ty Jerome because he was on the Cavs last year. Ty Jerome at the foul line. Knocks down his free throw. And then Ty Jerome comes up with a steal, gets it over to Aldama, gets swatted out of there by Thompson, and Thompson saves it over to Stewart. Incredible play from Ausar Thompson. They swing it around. Thompson up top, coming to his left, mid-range pull-up jumper, bricks it. Not even close. Hit this, almost wedgied it, hit the side of the backboard before grazing the rim. KCP off the screen, gets it out to Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome over to Wells. Wells pump fakes, driving to his right. Well, loses it. Duncan Robinson picks it up. Now, with no real ball handlers out there outside of Jerome, and Wells is trying to showcase and develop his ball handling, Memphis is really struggling in getting the ball inside. We saw Scotty Pippen really struggle. Duncan Robinson misses a 3 for the Pistons. Grizzlies have it up top. Over to Jerome. Jerome coming to his left. Off a Londale screen, kicks it out to Wells. Wells open, right wing 3. Wells short. No pun intended. Thompson picks it up, brings it down the other way. Coming to his left off a screen, quickly attacking. Euro steps down the lane, saying he got tripped up. And they call the foul. Foul on Londale. Landale? Foul on Landale. And it looked like Thompson just... Oh, he just slipped and fell. That shouldn't be a foul on Jock Landale. Well, they do call it. Side out of bounds. Holland gets it over to LeVert. LeVert coming to his left. Now over to Holland. Holland to the left wing 3. Deep one. Can't get it to go. Jerome with the rebound. Home run pass to Aldama. Catches, goes up, gets chased down, blocked. He picks up his own offensive rebound. Down the lane. Kicks it back out. A 3 from KCP. He can't get it to go. Holland with Skine for a rebound. Holland all over the place right now and then just almost turns it over. Able to save his own loose ball. Kicks it out to an open Duncan Robinson. But he can't knock down the 3. Here comes the Grizzlies pushing it the other way. Under 10 to go here in the third quarter. Jerome over the top pass to Londale. Gets it knocked out of his hands by Thompson. And the Pistons are all over the place. As what's his name? Jeez, Duncan Robinson tries to feed it over to Paul Reed on the fast break, and Paul Reed just smokes a layup. Here come the Grizzlies pushing the other way. And when you give up a layup, you give up a 3 on the other end. You can see it coming a mile away as Jalen Wells makes them pay. 74-70, 9:15 to go. Thompson has it up top, hands it off to LeVert. LeVert coming to his right off the Stewart screen, driving it down, has a lane, goes to it, can't finish over Londale, but leaves Stewart wide open for the offensive rebound and one-handed putback. Lawndale has it up top. Gets it out to Wells. Wells being guarded by Thompson. Swings it out. Extra pass. KCP attacking on the baseline. Leaves it off for Lawndale, who can get the little floater in the lane. But they grab the offensive rebound over to Santi Aldama. And my man can knock down that floater in the lane over Stewart. Yes, sir, he can. Yes, sir, he can. And I gave 2 points to the wrong side. It's 78-72. It's a 4-point game. 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter. 8.5 to go here in the third quarter. Stewart has it up top. Hands it off to Holland. Holland. He's going to settle for the pull-up three. Comes up short on it. Long rebound. Lawndale tracks it down. Here comes KCP. Bringing it down right side of the court. Quick crossover to his right, rejecting the screen. Slips it over to Lawndale, who gets swatted at the rim by Isaiah Stewart. Here comes Thompson bringing it down the other end. And a big one-handed hammer just beating the Grizzlies down the court. And the Grizzlies immediately pushing it the other way. Lawndale kicks it out to Santi Aldama. Aldama kicks it out now to Jerome. Jerome shovels it over to KCP. No hesitation three. And KCP makes him pay, knocking down the three. And this is just fast-paced action up and down. No stopping, no time for breathing. So much so that the Pistons got to call a timeout. Huffing and puffing from both sides. 7:50 to go here in the third quarter. Just as that's a major expectation that you say we'll have the top record in the East this year, they should. That should be the expectation for this team. Now, I could see them not getting to that place because new coaching staff, new system, we talk about it all the time. I've talked about it so much so far here tonight because the Grizzlies are going through something similar with Isalo. But that should be the expectation for them. At worst, they should be 2. And at best, they should be 1. Just that's a deep down. Dottier not making the active roster would be a letdown. Yeah, I was looking forward to year 2. Pregame Dottier with Mike Brown, someone who values playing young players and putting them in positions to help them develop later on. I was really looking forward to that, and it looks like we might not get it. But we'll still have hope with Mo Diawara. If Dottier is gone, I'm moving on to Mo. I'm putting all my focus and my effort into Mo Diawara. Just as that said, players bounce around the association so much with different teams, it'll take a week or 3 to realize where everyone is. Absolutely. Absolutely. When I was going through making the player graphics for every team, I was surprised. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he went to that team. I was like, oh, when did this player go to that team? It was like Ty Jerome. I didn't realize Ty Jerome was on the Grizzlies, right? So when I was going through their active roster, trying to figure out what their rotation is going to be, I was like, when did Ty Jerome go to the Grizzlies? When did that happen? Was it a free agent signing? Was it a trade? How did the Grizzlies end up with Ty Jerome? It's a pretty good pickup for them. Yak said, by the fourth quarter, it was just us and Cowboys with the Giants. 4 offensive linemen still had time thrown. With a horrible defense, I thought the game would be close. Giants had 5 fumbles. Could be worse. MetLife teams are a laughingstock of the league. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Unfortunately. Yak said, I hope we don't give up on a 20-year-old wing. I don't think they're giving up on the 20-year-old wing. I think if in a perfect world, they would very much like to keep Pregame Dottier. They're not giving up on him. They're not trading him because they don't think he could be a very good player. They would trade him because the prospect of Pregame Dottier helping your team win a championship versus Malcolm Brogdon or Landry Shamet helping your team win a championship, you'd have to lean more so on those veteran players more so than the 20-year-old wing. I think in a perfect world, they'd love to keep him. But we don't live in a perfect world. Back into it, the Pistons knocked down a nice layup on the other end. I forgot to see who it was, or I didn't realize who it was. I think it was Paul Reed. But either way, Aldama draws a foul on the floor, out on the perimeter. Kay Hazy said Diawara did knock down an open shot when Pac couldn't. Yeah, Dadier not having the greatest preseason games out there in Saudi Arabia. There's got to be a lot of pressure on him. He knows his name's in the trade windmill. You know, he knows. No dip 3 for Jalen Wells. Can't get it to go. So Jalen Wells had an excellent start to the game and has gone ice cold since. Holland gets it over to Robinson. Robinson driving it down. Tries to leave it off for Stewart. A bad pass. Tipped. Here comes the Grizzlies. It's a 3-on-2. Ty Jerome's going to settle for a pull-up 3, and he rattles it in. I mean, if you're going to take an audacious shot like that, you better knock it down. And he did do just that. So here comes Paul Reed bringing it down. They're actually giving it to Paul Reed to just bring it down. Or is that LeVert? Excuse me. That's Karis LeVert. It's not Paul Reed. Thank goodness. LeVert bringing it down. Robinson back to LeVert. LeVert inside the Stewart. Got it knocked out of his hands by P.J. Hall. Good hands from Hall to save the easy dunk there from Isaiah Stewart. Okay, he said not much defense on either side. It's been very chaotic. They are playing defense. They are playing defense. They're just when they get back, when they can get back and set up their defense, they're playing defense. The issue is, they're not hustling too. They don't have a ton of urgency to get back on defense so far here in this first preseason game for both sides. Yak said top record could be Cleveland if we're using all these players. Cleveland uses a lot of players too. That's a very modern thing to do, to go deep into your bench. Warriors do it. Cavs did it last year. Thunder do it with Dagnall. Obviously, Cleveland does it with Atkinson. Warriors do it with Kerr. And the Knicks, part of the reason why they got rid of Tom Thibodeau is because they felt like you can be more creative with the roster that we've constructed and go deeper into the bench. Scotty Pippen is back in the game. 6:15 to go. They get it over to Wells. Back to Scotty. He's going to pump fake, drive it down, and he gets fouled on the floor as Paul Reed went for the pump fake. Yak said getting 2 seconds is giving up. We can keep Brogdon if Shamit, another 2-guard, doesn't make the team. They're not giving up. Like I said, if they wanted to keep him, they would absolutely make the decision to keep him. Giving up is deciding, we got to cut our losses. This guy's no good. We can move on from him. That's not what they're doing. They're not giving up on him. They're just deciding that with the roster spots they have, they would rather, I don't know why I did 3 points. With the roster spot they have, they decided they'd rather have veterans to help them win a championship, because they have championship aspirations this year, than a 20-year-old rookie who hasn't shown a whole lot. You know, it's not like Dadier is giving him a ton of reasons to keep him around right now. I think if Dadier had performed better during Summer League and had performed better in the first 2 preseason games, they would definitely go, we don't really want to move him. You know? I mean, it's not a coincidence that you heard some of the rumblings about Deuce McBride maybe being a guy they look to trade in order to open up some roster spots. But Deuce McBride has shown value, has had excellent games. As Holland drives it down, can't get the floater to go. Paul Reed with a nice offensive rebound. They swing it around. Lanier with the 3 in the left corner, got it to go. You know, like you got to show value in order to keep me around. Can't just be, what's it called? It can't just be potential. You know who had a ton of potential, who was also 6'8", who also had a sweet shooting stroke, who also looked like he could be a guy? Kevin Knox. You know? Not to compare Dadier to Kevin Knox. You know I'm a huge Dadier fan. I think he's going to be a really good role player in this league one day. But, you know, sometimes you just need a guy who's going to help you win basketball games. When you're competing for a championship, boy, oh boy, is that more important than ever. And the Grizzlies, Max Prosper, flying around, coming up with a nice big block shot on what should have been a wide-open layup for Karis LeVert. Five minutes to go here in the third quarter. It's 83-83. Pistons have 1.4 seconds to go. LeVert left corner three at the buzzer, can't get it to go. Also, they might not get 2 seconds for Dottier. They might get maybe a heavily protected second. You're not getting anything for these rookies, big dog. Not getting anything for these rookies. Cam Whitmore went for like a protected second. Excellent move from Ron Holland in transition there for a lefty layup. 4:35 to go. They get it over to Cedric Coward, driving it down, draws the foul on Paul Reed, trying to get into the paint. Mikhail said Ty Jerome took less money and came to the Grizzlies because he was wanted by Isalo and his system. Jock Londale, too. Two really good pickups by the Grizzlies. Ty Jerome, obviously, like we said, coming off a career year with Cleveland. Got exposed a little bit in the playoffs, but, Cavs dealt with some injuries that maybe contributed to him getting exposed a bit in the playoffs. Either way, he's a really good player who, at the very least, is going to help you tremendously in the regular season. K. Hazy said, Cade really is the team. Jeez. Well, he had said, bring Cade back. The first preseason game, the general rule for it is the starters, whoever starts the game, tend to play the first half, and then come the second half, go sit down. go rest. Preseason. We're just trying to shake off some rust, some off-season rust, right? Get that first breather in. Break that wind in. Right? Get the feel. Pistons turn it over, then Grizzlies turn it over. It's becoming a bit of a turnover fest here with both teams getting their second and third stringers in now. Just Dad said, are you watching next chapter on here, YouTube? It's 1v1s mostly. I haven't even heard of it, Just Dad. Haven't even heard of it. Haven't even heard of it, unfortunately. Just Dad said, thank you all for the likes. I appreciate you guys. Yes, thank you very much for the likes. 21 likes here tonight. Non-Knicks games, gotta expect it. Gotta expect it for the non-Knicks games. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. We're gonna do this all year long. We're gonna do games every single night. That is the plan. But I'm gonna check out next chapter. Mostly 1v1s. I'm gonna check it out. I have no idea what it is. But now I'm interested. Yak said Bridges, Clarkson, Brogdon, Hart, McBride, and now off-ball Brunson can play two-guard is why I can't see a big role for Shamet, so why trade away Bakum in a wing? Because players get hurt. That's why. Because players get hurt. And when those players get hurt and you're in the playoffs and 3 of those guys aren't available for whatever reason, they feel a lot more comfortable going to Shamet than having to go to 20-year-old Bakum Dadier making his playoff debut in a, game 4 of a second-round playoff series. That's why. Right? This is not a year where they're thinking, oh, let's see how far we can go. This is a year where they're like, we got to win. We got to win this year. Right? Indiana is back next year with Halliburton. Boston is back next year with Tatum. This is the year. Go for it. And if it means giving up Bakum Dadier, who, again, can maybe develop into a nice role player, maybe, well, that's a risk they're willing to take. If it means giving them a better chance to win a championship this year. That is their mindset. I'm not saying I agree with it yet, but that is their rationale. And that rationale does make sense. Now, a person like me, I'd rather keep Dadier over Shamet. But it sounds like they really want Shamet. And it sounds like they really want Brogdon. And in order to have both of those guys, who are right now are on unguaranteed contracts, the Knicks have one available roster spot. It means they have to open up a second one. In order to do that, they have to trade one of the young guys. and it's between Dadier, Hukporty, and Kolek. Now, Hukporty not really going to go anywhere, considering that Mitchell Robinson is very likely, to miss games this year, and they're going to rest him appropriately, and so they're going to rely on Hukporty to come in as a backup center on a lot of nights. So he's not going anywhere. And then you have Tyler Kolek, who I think would be the young guy that they would like to trade. The issue is Tyler Kolek has negative value around the league. Nobody cares about Tyler Kolek. They don't want him. They don't think he's that good. He hasn't shown anything in the league thus far. And so no team is going out of the way to be like, ooh, yeah, let me get Tyler Kolek. You know? So they can't just readily be like, oh, yeah, give us a second round for Tyler Kolek. Nobody's even willing to give up a second round pick for Tyler Kolek. They can maybe get a second round pick for Pregame. And so it's easier to trade him. And that's where they're at. Yak said Shaman would be 5th, if not 6th. 2 guard doesn't make sense. 2 guards don't really exist anymore. Everybody's a combo guard at this point. And again, he would be playing the 3. Like, you've seen times where already in the preseason where, what's his name? Mike Brown has gone to a 3-guard rotation, 3-guard set, where he's played a lineup of Clarkson, Brunson, and McBride, along with Yabusele, and I think Robinson was out there. I think that was the 5 they have, or maybe Anunoby and Robinson, or something like that. Right? So he had 3 guards out there at once. You know? So that means McBride was playing the small forward position. Like, positions don't make sense the way they used to. Positions are very fluid in the NBA. Yak said, nobody wanted Chammy. He's here on a camp contract. The Knicks wanted him. He knew the Knicks wanted him. He knew the Knicks were going to call. Just that, do you still have the utmost faith in Leon? Did Leon Rose not bring us Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabusele in the offseason? Absolutely. Absolutely. The utmost faith. Until he gives me a reason to lose some faith in him, I have the utmost faith in what Leon Rose is doing. I mean, all his moves have been on point. Whether I fully agree with them or not, they have worked out. The only ones that haven't worked out were his first offseason, where he got what's it called? Evan Fournier and Derrick Rose. Not Derrick Rose. Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. Those were the only moves that didn't really work out. And I'm not doing a good job of keeping track of the score. Too busy talking to you guys. It's 89, 84, 2:15 left. It's become a significantly less fun game as Londale throws it to nobody and Javonte Green get the dunk for the Pistons. Without the stars in there, the offense has gone clunky for both sides. Cam Spencer, pocket pass to Londale. Kick it out to that Prosper. No, it's Vince Williams Jr. who draws a foul and gets the little push shot to go. That's Gigi Jackson. Gigi Jackson, the Grizzlies' Pregame Dadier, except he showed far more on the court than Dadier ever has. And yet he is the 3rd, 4th string wing on this Grizzlies team. Can he crack the rotation again? Just that said, hope Leon isn't at the LeBron October 7th PS and has a solid plan for the season. Leon Rose has not publicly been cited since he took the Knicks job. I don't think he's going to be at whatever thing LeBron is doing tomorrow. Gigi Jackson missed his free throw, by the way, but he did get the basket that did not award him with. And Paul Reed is now at the foul line for 2 free throws, fouled by G.G. Jackson. Just that said, Cat trade will be his best. And that was the trade I was saying that I didn't fully agree with. But it has worked out. Cat has been spectacular here in New York. Hopefully it continues. Hopefully it continues. Cam Spencer for the Grizzlies swings it out. G.G. Jackson driving it down over to Vince Williams in the corner. Coward, 3, can't get it to go. Cam Spencer comes flying in for an offensive rebound. I'm a big Cam Spencer fan. Big UConn fan. Vince Williams, pump fakes, leans in, draws the foul. He's going to go to the foul line for 2 free throws. 1 minute to go here in the third quarter. Just as Dad said, Detroit played so fast last year, and they might be faster this year. They are playing faster. But again, like I said, every team comes into preseason and training camp and the start of the year with the same objectives. We're going to be better defensively, and we're going to be a faster-paced team, and we're going to shoot more threes. Every team says it every year. And then the season starts, and you get like 10, 15 games of that, and then teams are like, oh my, this is tough to do this night in and night out for an 82-game schedule. Oh, man, let's slow down, guys. Let's play more of a half-court game these next couple of games, you know? And then that's when paces start to slow down and whatnot, and you get into the grind of the regular season. So. Hazy said that foul was ridiculous. He practically jumped on him. He did. I thought they weren't going to award him because I didn't hear the whistle because I got my TV on very, very low. But they did give him the whistle. Yak said Leon went from 27 wins, Alfred Payton, Alec Burks, and Nerlens Noel to back-to-back 50 wins and favorites. What is not to trust? That's what I'm saying, Yak. That's what I'm saying. Absolutely. I'm with you. Absolutely. What is not to trust? What has he done to make you not trust him? To not put faith in what is, like I said, the only 2 moves that objectively did not work whatsoever was Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker, which were done in the same offseason. So, since then, he's been batting 1,000. Maybe not 1,000. The Cam Reddish thing didn't work out, but then Cam Reddish led to Josh Hart, so it did work out. 15 seconds to go here in the quarter. Sasser dancing with it, loses the handle, kicks it out to Lanier. 1 dribble 3, wedgie. We were bound for 1. We were getting so close to them all game long. We had 3 or 4 close calls. We finally got a wedgie. Mikhail said Gigi was way too young when he came to the league. Now his 3rd season. He's still the youngest on the team. Yeah, it feels like he's been on this team for 5 years. And he's still the youngest guy on the team. Still only his 3rd year. But, he's got to have playing opportunity. But the Grizzlies are consistently trying to win. So it's hard to thread that needle of got to play the young guy to develop him. But by playing the young guy, we're kind of throwing away minutes. Because he's going to be making young, dumb kid, rookie mistakes. It's a catch-22. There's no right answer to doing it. There's no right way of doing it. No right way of development. Just that said, Tibbs had a pool and a bunch of Leon moves. He had a voice. By all accounts, by all reporting, he had a voice. Right? They asked him, what do you think about this? What do you think we should do with the team? And he'd give his opinion. They go, okay. Thank you for the opinion. And then they would go to other people and be like, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on this? And then they would come together and they would make a decision. That's how productive groups work together. That's how a productive front office should work, right? Hey, coach, you're the guy coaching the team. You're the guy implementing the offense. What do you think we should do with the roster? Is there anything that you would like to see, right? That's how it should be. the coach should have a say, a voice in what happens with the roster, because he's the guy who has to coach it. It doesn't mean that they're going to do exactly what you say, but you got to have a voice. You got to be involved to some degree. Just as that's a bigger step as a deep hatred for the Knicks this year. Yeah, I said Mitch in year 8 is our youngest starter. That's crazy. That is crazy to think about. Who is he, 27? Year 8? Came in at 19? Dry Bones. Dry Bonez. Not Dry Bones. Dry Bonez. What's up, Dry? It's weird they want to ship out Pregame because they just invested and hired a development coach. Maybe it's all for Diawara. Well, it's for a bunch of guys. It's for Kolek. It's for Hukporty. It's for Diawara. It's for the future young guys that they're going to bring in, knowing that, once you hit this point of contention, the way you stay in contention is by developing your own talent. It's for guys like Deuce McBride, who are also still developing. It's for a lot of guys. It's not just for rookies. It's for a lot of guys on the team. And I don't think they want to ship out Dottier. I think they would like to hold on to Dottier, but the issue is when you're competing for a championship, Dry, in a game 4 of the second round and guys are out hurt and maybe a guy sprained his ankle or something and you got to bring a guy in for 8 minutes, would you be more comfortable bringing in Dottier? Would you be more comfortable bringing in Shaman? And for, 8 minutes, 10 minutes a game. I think the front office has decided we'd be a lot more comfortable with a veteran in the spot, more so than we would with Dottier in the spot. And I think that's ultimately where the decision is going to come down from. Here we go, start of the fourth quarter. We've almost gone completely away of calling the game, but again, third stringers, fourth stringers, and whatnot. Very sloppy game. Caldwell Pope is out there. Vince Williams Jr. now has the ball in the right corner, driving it down along the baseline. Gets it in, somehow sneaks it into Londale, who leans in trying to draw the foul, can't get it. Now here come the Pistons pushing it the other way. $99-90. Scoreboard very much off. My bad. Londale straightaway 3, in and out, can't get it to stay. OG Rue, what's up, OG? David Haas Jr., what's up, David? OG Rue said all these years, this has to be our best lineup. Hoping Mikal steps up more. Mikal, I think, is going to have a standout year this year. Tom Thibodeau's system does not lend itself well to Mikal Bridges' skill set and the way he would like to play and what's best, the best way to utilize Mikal Bridges. We talked about Tom Thibodeau's failure in utilization last year and putting players in positions to be successful. I think Mike Brown will have much more success in that department as the Pistons get a nice tip-in layup. So we'll see. I have high expectations for Mikal Bridges. I think Mitchell Robinson has been probably the most impressive. Then I think Mikal Bridges has been the second most impressive player for the Knicks so far in preseason. And it's only been 2 games, but still. David said, what's good, Chef? Just checking in. Just baffled by the Yanks. I'm right there with you. I got nothing to say about them Yanks, man. I really got nothing to say about them. Just get it over with and get out of here so we can, or just get us to the start of the Knicks season. Or you know what? Just get out of here. Just get out of here. Because if you're struggling this much with Toronto, even if you magically are capable of pulling out, like you got curb stomped in those 2 games. Not even close. That's a big question. We'll be playing in June. They better be, man. They better be. Just that said, last year was a grueling series versus the Pistons. They are better this season. Both teams got better. So it's gonna be fun. And the Pistons were hurt last year, right? Missing Stewart, missing Ivy. Hey Hazy said the only problem I have with bringing in a second vet over keeping all our guys is that it's just a season-long rental. Yeah, but they're trying to win a championship this season. So if you have to rent the vet for this season for the championship run, like, is it not worth it? Right? Would you rather have Dadier on this team or for a guaranteed 3 years, or would you have a veteran on this team for an unguaranteed 1 year, but you put yourself in a better chance of winning a championship? You know, these are the questions that the front office is asking themselves right now. Yak said, all for combo guard 6, Shamit, who can play against most small forwards or some small power forwards that back home could if injuries happen. Kenny, we saw in the second half of preseason against the 76ers, started that third quarter, Dadier starts the second half, Philly comes out and they're like, oh, we're going right at Dadier's chest. And they scored on like 4 straight possessions to the point where Mike Brown and the Knicks had to call a timeout and talk about it. Like, went right at him. Kenny, size doesn't mean you can guard. Just because he has the size to guard doesn't mean he can. Shamit is going to compete. I would rather have Shamit guarding a 6'8 wing than have Dadier try and guard a 6'8 wing, right? And maybe he can, but it's about development. And again, it's just about this season. They are not thinking about next season. They are not thinking about 3 years from now when Dadier develops and he becomes a better defender. They are not thinking about that at all. They are simply thinking about which player helps us win a championship this season. And it sounds like they don't trust Dadier to be a guy to help them win a championship this year. Not that they don't think he can develop into a really good player and maybe help them win a championship in 2 or 3 years. Right? I think they do believe that, or else they wouldn't have drafted him and invested in him the way they have. It's just, timeline is right now. Timeline is not the next 3 years. Timeline is right now. The window will never be this open for the Knicks again. Right? Indiana's out for the year. Boston is out for the year. Next year, both those teams come back. Plus, you have the Pistons. Plus, you'll have Orlando. Plus, you'll have Atlanta. You know, this is the year. You have to go for it. And if it means sacrificing Dadier for Shamit because you believe that Shamit will be a more reliable player when you need that, they're going to go with Shamit. They're going to make that decision. What it sounds like. And again, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not trying to convince you that that is the right move. All I'm simply saying is that those are the questions they're asking themselves, and it's clear the answer they're coming to. They're going to decide that they would rather rely on a veteran like Shamit to step into a role should they need him to. Right? He's not going to be a part of the regular rotation in the regular season. It's not happening. But should they need him to step up when a guy needs rest during the regular season? Should they need him to step up in the playoffs, which is the thing they're most concerned about? They're going to trust Shamit over Dadier. What it sounded like. Dry Bones said, it feels like they have just punted on the draft every year since Brunson. Already worried about Josh Hart's health and they need youth wings desperately. Well, they've been trying to find youth wings in the draft where they're positioned. You know, part of the reason why they punt on the draft every now and again is because they look at the young players available and they go, we're good. We'll kick the can down the road. Maybe we'll pick up a couple of draft picks later on, more so than taking a kid who we didn't even really love in the draft process, you know, because all the guys we really liked were taken already. So all right, let's not waste anybody's time drafting a player who we don't fully believe. Like the last time they did that was with Trevor Keels. They didn't fully believe in Trevor Keels, right? They took him in the second round. He was a Duke kid. They were just like, take Trevor Keels, I guess. That's what the draft pick felt like, right? And since then, right, what did Trevor Keels do with the Knicks? Kind of languished in the G League for them, and then eventually has been gone. I think he's on the Timberwolves now in their G League team. But they're gonna draft players who they believe in, who they think can develop and help them later on. Which is why some years they're just like, we're good, right? Like this past year, the only player they came out of the draft with was 51st pick Mo Diawara. What pick was Mo Diawara? Right? That was the only player they came out of the draft with. And it's clear, big 6'9" wing, right? Little bit of a wing, big combo, right? Kind of like a tweener, but got some Pascal Siakam in him. How far can that development go? He's got good passing feel. He's got good court vision, all of that. And so they're willing to take the time with the development of him. They're willing to take the time with the development of Pacom Dadier when they drafted him, thinking, okay, he's got a shot, got a little bit of a handle, great off ball, fantastic feel for a young kid, 19 years old. Let's do it. Let's take the risk and work on the development of Dadier. But when push comes to shove and you're like, we can compete for a championship, but we have to move off Dadier, okay. You know, they're going to get draft picks, and they're going to use their second-round picks wisely, and they'll make a trade for a young guy who, other teams are out on, and they'll try these things. They're going to go for it, and they'll find ways to be smart. Again, the front office has given you no reason not to trust them. But they're not going to put themselves in a position where they're going to think later on down the line, like, man, if only we had, a veteran in the Dadier spot in that playoff series, we wouldn't have punted away those 6 minutes that we had to put him out there because of injury or whatever, His dad said Shep was hilarious on draft night this year. I don't even remember draft night. That's how, out of my mind I was. I was, delirious. Because I was like, what are we doing here? The Knicks didn't even have a pick in the first round. I was like, I don't even know what I'm streaming this for. Yeah, like I said, I like Shaman, but I can't see him playing much. And giving him a kid when we know Clarkson and Brogdon will get real contracts next year. If they play good, we can't afford, is why I'm against it. I get it. I'm against it too. I'd rather have Dadier than Shaman. I don't think Dadier, given the opportunity to actually play and develop, would be as detrimental to the team as I think they might think. But like I said, they're weighing the pros and cons of a young player versus a veteran in a playoff series, in a pinch where you got to throw them out there. And I just don't think that they want to put Dadier in that spot where now all of a sudden, don't mess up in the 6 minutes we put you out there, Dadier. Get ahead, kid. And that spot may never even happen. We may never even get to that point. Right? I'm crossing my fingers, knocking on every piece of wood available to me that we don't get to a spot where guys are injured and Shamet or Dadier have to step in. And I think the front office feels that way too. But you have to plan for every possibility. And I think that's what this front office is doing. Right? What happens in the possibility where this guy who's the 13th man on the roster has to step in a playoff series? What happens? Who do we trust in that moment? Do we trust Shamet more or do we trust Dadier more? And I think internally the organization has come to the conclusion they trust Shamet more. They're not thinking about next season, not thinking about 2, 3, 4 years down the line where Dadier is objectively probably going to develop into a better player than Shamet is. They're saying right now, today, in April, May, and June, we would rather have Shaman in that spot than Dadier. And you have to make that decision right now. That decision has to be made before the start of the year, right? Before the end of preseason. Trade has to happen before the season starts because we have to sign these guys onto a contract to get them onto the roster to start the year. So, Dry Bone S said, why not both? Because there's only a certain amount of roster spots and there's only a certain amount of money. It's really the roster spots thing. The Knicks are over the second apron. So it's really just about the roster spot at this point. You can only have 15 guys on your roster. K. Hazy said, was this the most unfair draft? Mavs, Spurs, Sixers with the first 3 picks. It felt like it. Mavs getting 1 is crazy. Spurs getting the 2nd pick was like, really? You just gave them Wemby. And then the Sixers getting the 3rd pick was like, really? Philly? You're going to give Philly the 3rd pick after that terrible season they had? Really? After they tanked at the end of the year? Come on. Yeah, that's a pretty good call. Dry Bonez said, the best teams develop and compete in the same window. Not true. Ask the Warriors how their 2-timeline system worked. Ask them how that worked. James Wiseman's gone, Moody barely plays, and Kuminga is on his way out. How'd that 2 timelines go? Second rounders, they passed on already, look good. They look like they just drafted Dadier for the discounted contract. Maybe. But in doing so, allowed them to maneuver easier in the offseason. So maybe it was worth it. Maybe it was worth it to get Anunoby on the contract he was on, trade for Bridges, to trade for Karl-Anthony Towns. They don't. It's impossible for them to do the Karl-Anthony Towns trade if Dadier is on a full-scale rookie contract. So you tell me. You tell me if it's worth it. If it was worth it in the end, right? Because if you draft a player who is like, nah, I'm not taking the rookie that 80% discount that Dadier did, and you can't make the Karl-Anthony Towns trade. The money wouldn't have worked. It would have put the Knicks over the second apron, and they did not. They could not get into the second apron last year because they knew they were not probably going to be a full championship contending team last season, knowing that they needed one more offseason to fill out the depth of the team. So that really was the reason why they drafted Dadier. Not a bad reason. To also take a swing on a young wing who, I'm sure they liked, right? I'm sure they also liked. You're not drafting a player you didn't like just for money, right? At that point, you just trade the pick and you don't draft anybody. Yak said, I understand what you're saying, but that's crazy. If all our guards get hurt and Shaman is a little bit better at this point. Yeah, it is crazy. But when you get to this point of team building, these are the decisions you got to make. These are the decisions that they're at, right? They got their core rotation in. Now you're talking about the fringes of the roster, and it's like, okay, if this season is the season we're going all in, what do we do about, the 13th spot, the 14th spot, and the 15th spot? And nothing is likely going to happen with those rotation spots. Like, those players are probably never really going to have a real spot in the rotation. But these are the decisions. This is how deep the thought process goes when it comes to deciding these things. I haven't had the time for taking it in a while, and it is 118 to 101. The Grizzlies have really struggled going to deep into their bench. Really struggled to generate offense. 118 to 101. A 17-point lead for the Pistons when they were down 21 earlier in the game. It's kind of crazy. There's 4 minutes left in this game. Scotty Pippen driving it down in the lane, kicks it out. Vince Williams driving to his left, pulls it back. Is that Vince Williams or is that J.G. Jackson? He shot it with his right hand, and Vince Williams is a lefty. Pistons, Smith Tolu Smith driving it to the rim, gets fouled. Well, that was Omax Prosper, excuse me. That's who shot the 3 for Memphis. 3:30 to go. And the Pistons going to the foul line for 2 free throws. Tolu Smith is at the foul line for 2 free throws. Smith misses the first free throw. Can't be missing free throws. Dry Moon said, right, but that's punting on the draft to make the roster work. Warriors fell apart because they couldn't draft after Clay. I'd rather have the young guys come in to take over for Josh in 2 years than Shamet. I know, dude, but sometimes you draft a guy and it doesn't work out. The Warriors had the 2nd pick, the 7th pick, and what was the other pick that they had? That was Kuminga. Kuminga was like the 8th pick. And none of those guys have worked out. And you want the Knicks to move on from Josh Hart for the 25th pick for what's going to be, next year's draft, the 28th pick? Like, you're grasping at straws at that point, hoping that that player develops into an actual role player, right? It's highly unlikely it happens. It rarely happens where you draft that late in the draft and they turn into an actual role player. At that point, it's a bit of a crapshoot. That's why people call the draft entirely a crapshoot. It's because of that, In a perfect world, they would love to draft the Josh Hart replacement. They're dying to draft. They're hoping Dadier. They were hoping Dadier was the Josh Hart replacement. They're hoping Diawara is going to be the Josh Hart replacement. They're hoping Diawara is going to end up being the Anunoby replacement at some point, right? They're praying to the basketball gods that that's the case. They're hoping McCullough is the Josh Hart replacement. It's just, that's not how development works. It's not 2K. You don't just draft a young guy and then you're like, yeah, he'll develop. He'll work out, right? Like it doesn't happen. The Warriors drafted incredibly highly rated prospects. Kuminga, Moody, Wiseman. None of them worked out. Not a one of them. There were other players they drafted later in the 2nd round that just didn't work. And it's not just the Warriors. It's every team. Every team has stories like that. Your draft picks are more likely to not work out for you than they are. I think 60% of first-round picks as of 2023, so this is not an updated stat, but 60 first-round picks, 60% of first-round picks played for a different team by the time they were in year 3. They were playing for a second team by the time their rookie contract was up. Most good teams utilize the draft to allow them to maneuver their books better. Most good, and then they'll take a guy or two and hope that one of them develops into a good role player. And then sometimes you get lucky. But really good, really smart teams are not relying on the draft. Yak said, when were insiders ever right about Leon move? Leon doesn't tip off what he's doing, at least not yet. Yeah, absolutely, Yak. Absolutely. Every time, like, Chris Mannix or Frank Isola do a big blow-up where they're like, this is what the Knicks are doing. It's like, and then they don't do that. Like, well, he had said, imagine blowing a 21-point lead. It's preseason. And the Grizzlies are missing like 60% of their rotation, right? 3/5 of their rotation. Cade said, at least my guy McCullough doesn't have a full contract, so he's not even in the conversation. The beauty of taking the 2-way contract. The beauty. Drybonez said 100%, but it's short-sighted to trade them away before you know they can't be Josh Hart. And Premu is now cheap young wing players. I get what you're saying. And I agree with you. The issue is that they are being short-sighted. They would tell you we're being short-sighted because they're not thinking 2 years down the line, Dry. They're not thinking 3 years down the line because they're thinking about this season, thinking about winning a championship this season, right? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out when we need a Josh Hart replacement. It's not going to happen this year or next year or 2 years from now, right? It's probably going to be 3-4 years from now. Hopefully, right? Knock on wood. Again, knock on everything wood. Injuries, basketball gods, it gets crazy. But they're not, they are being short-sighted purposely. They know they're being short-sighted. They know in a perfect world, they'd love to hang on to Dottie. They drafted him for a reason. But they're not going to put themselves behind the 8 ball in a season where Indiana's out. Boston is out. Orlando just made a seismic change to their lineup, getting Bane. Atlanta made huge changes to their roster. Can it all come together in 1 year? You know? Detroit's really young. This is the best opportunity New York has had. And they're not going to allow Facundo Dadier, who we don't even know if he's going to develop into a good player, be the guy that stands in their way of them going to sleep at night and saying, okay, we have now done everything in our ability to put this team in a position to win a championship. Right? Drybonus said Nuggets needed Christian Brown, picked in the 20s. They got rid of their old wings and are running it back. And they haven't won a championship since, brother. You know who they really could have used? They really could have used KCP and Bruce Brown. You know? They really could have used KCP and Bruce Brown. So much so to the point that they brought Bruce Brown back. Because we needed the veteran to build out the depth. Christian Brown is great. Christian Brown contributed as a rookie on their championship run. Played in the finals. You know what Facundo Dadier hasn't done? Contributed at any point to the team in winning anything. You know? I'm a huge Facundo Dadier fan. I'd love to keep him. But we're not comparing the potential of Christian Brown, who won regular rotation minutes with the Nuggets. He battled it out and won actual rotation minutes. Michael Malone, who's notably very hard, very famously, very notoriously, very hard on rookies, didn't have to play Christian Brown. He could have just extended Bruce Brown's minutes. Could have extended KCP's and Michael Porter Jr.'s minutes. Just that said, have you watched any Big Three this offseason? I have not. I don't have regular cable, so I don't even know what channel it's on. Is it on YouTube? I've seen some highlights. I have seen some highlights. Every now and again, highlights pop up and I watch them. But I have not sat down to like really watch it. Yak said Shaman was great in the Pacers series, but horrible in the Detroit and Boston series. He isn't a sure thing either. We hope we don't have to find out again. Exactly. I mean, that's the decision they're making. What would they rather rely on? Would they rather rely on Shamet, who has proven that he has done it before? He has come through for the team, even if it was 1 out of 3 playoff series last year. Or would they rather rely on a rookie, a second-year player, who really didn't play at all his rookie year, who didn't have a great summer league, who is having a rough preseason so far? Hopefully he'll turn it around. I assume he's going to turn it around. He's going to play well these next couple of games. But that's the decision they're making. Those are the things they're weighing. What do we trust more? Shamet, who's done it before, even on other teams, right? Phoenix he had a good run with. The Clippers he had a decent run with. Or Dadier, who didn't even play well in the preseason. Or didn't even play, hasn't played well in the preseason and didn't even play well in summer league. Right? Those are the things that they are weighing. Where would we rather lean? And it seems like they'd rather lean on the veteran who's done it before. Casey said, I don't even remember Shane playing against Boston. He probably didn't, the way Tom Thibodeau coached. He probably played like 6 minutes a night. The way Tom Thibodeau was running those rotations, man. Tom Thibodeau loves his crazy rotations. We know this. Anyway, that's going to be the end of the game. We ranted that whole fourth quarter. I think I called maybe 3 plays, but we know this. It was a blowout. It was third and fourth stringers. Shout out to them. They're getting out there trying to show themselves out, trying to win NBA contracts, trying to win rotation minutes. Shout out to them. Shout out to you guys for hanging out with me all night. It is now 10:30 here on the East Coast. It's pretty late. Appreciate y'all, everybody. Justice's dad, Nick Yak, Dry Bonez. Love the conversation with y'all. Wahid, K Hazy, of course. Everybody in the stream tonight. David Oss Jr., everybody. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. We will be back tomorrow. I don't know what game we're doing. We'll pick a game, and then we'll do it. Tomorrow's Tuesday. There's 2 games on tomorrow. Bulls, Cavs, Pacers, Timberwolves. 2 not so great games. Oh, Bulls, Cavs is on Peacock, and I don't have my Peacock subscription set up. So we might just do Pacers, Timberwolves. We'll do Pacers, Timberwolves. All right, we'll check out some Pacers, Timberwolves. That'll be interesting. Maybe we'll do the first half of that game. Who knows? Maybe we'll come back and have another great discussion with y'all. Yak said cross fingers, we don't hear a trade. I'm with you, Yak. I'm with you. We're crossing them. We're crossing them, hoping we keep Dottie. I'm with you. Take care, everyone. T-Wolves next. Yeah, let's do the T-Wolves. I'm with you. Pacers deserve a look. That's true. See what they look like without Halliburton running the show, right? We'll do Pacers Timberwolves tomorrow, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock start time. So we'll be live at 7:30. We're going to do the pregame. We're going to go through their rosters. We're going to go through their players and what those teams look like going into the season. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great night. Remember, before you go to bed, brush your teeth. Some of y'all got some stank breath. Shower. Some of y'all be stinking. And get a good night's sleep. Some of y'all be tired. And we get your beauty sleep in. So I appreciate you guys. Catch you on the next one. I'm out. Good night, everybody. Bye.